Come in to their home stadium, folks, with the longest win streak in the nation. You may not have noticed that. They have won 12 in a row. They beat Arkansas in their bowl game. As far as the series history is concerned against Iowa, it can't be any tighter than that. 40 wins apiece and 2 ties, but the Hawkeyes have dominated the last 5 games. They were the last team to win here in Madison. But the lights are on tonight, and that's usually good news for Wisconsin. They have won 19 of their last 20 games under the Arcs. 37-year-old Brett Bielema bringing the Badgers out for their Big Ten opener. There are 4 unbeaten teams left in the conference as Indiana and Penn State fell today. Michigan State and Ohio State get through. Bielema and the Badgers will try to join them. Purdue tonight has a game in Minneapolis against the Golden Gophers. The rock stars have arrived. One game at a time. That's the mantra. It's going to be old-fashioned Big Ten football. The Hawkeyes and the Badgers when we come back. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is winding down for the Jewish faith, and Lisa Salters, special significance for Wisconsin's football team.
That's right, Brent. When the Badgers offense takes the field, keep an eye on their left tackle, number 68, the redshirt freshman Gabe Carimi. Carimi was almost unable to play today because he is Jewish, and according to the traditions of the faith, you are supposed to fast from sundown yesterday until sundown today, and that is exactly what Carimi did. I talked to him late yesterday afternoon at the walkthrough, and he said he had lunch yesterday at about 1:30 in the afternoon and was not going to eat until just before the game today. And just to make sure he has enough nutrients in his body, the training staff was going to hook him up to some IV to get him some fluids. And this is all possible because it's a night game. Carimi told me matter-of-factly, if this had been a day game, he would not have played, because not only are you supposed to not eat or drink or Yom Kippur, you're not really supposed to do any kind of work. And Carimi said while the team was in meetings all day today, he was in his room in silent observance of the holiday. Brent?
Thank you, Lisa, for that report. Taylor Melhoff, the fine kicker for the Badgers, with the ball on the tee. Iowa won the toss. They have elected to receive. Darrell Johnson-Koulianis, the redshirt freshman, is back deep. And this is Chaney. He is stopped at the 26-yard line. And now we're going to meet the Iowa offense. And here's their fine head coach, Kirk Ferentz.
Our offense tonight is led by first-year starter quarterback Jake Christensen. We only have 3 seniors on the offensive football team: tailbacks Albert Young and Damian Sims, fullback Tom Bush, and then other returning starters Andy Brodell at wide receiver, tight end Tony Nowacki, and offensive lineman Seth Olson, Raphael Eubanks.
So here is the first play, and Christensen, the left-hander, with an empty backfield, going to throw on first down. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Now, to meet the Wisconsin D, a fellow who once played in the defensive line for the Miami Hurricanes. You know him better as the actor, The Rock.
With 7 starters returning from the 2006 season, the Badger defensive line will be led by defensive end Matt Shaughnessy. Jonathan Casillas at linebacker will show us why he is a Lombardi and Bednarik Award candidate. The secondary showcases sophomore safety Shane Carter, who has 2 picks in the last 2 games.
Christensen changes up behind the Hawkeye offensive line. Albert Young gets his first carry of the night, right side. Battles for a pretty good gain out to the 30-yard line. Picked up about 4 yards on that play for the Hawkeyes, and Nick Hayden, number 96, slipped in there defensively.
Jake Christensen comes into this game out off a rocky performance last week in Ames against Iowa State. Very important on the road for him to try to settle in. You heard Kirk Ferentz when he introduced his lineups, only 3 seniors, one of which usually is in the lineup at a time. It's a young offensive line, young group of receivers, puts even that much more pressure on this quarterback, Jake Christensen.
3 receivers. And timeout has been called by the Hawkeyes. So rather than take a 5-yard penalty, Christensen uses up 1 of 3 here. The line.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
There's their head coach, Kirk Ferentz. A disappointing conclusion to last year for the Hawkeyes, who got off to a fabulous start. And they have been troubled off the field. And Kirk mentioned the wide receivers. And Dominique Douglas, they took a huge hit when he and Anthony Bowman were indefinitely suspended, and I doubt that they've been able quite yet to replace those 2.
No, it really has hurt him, and not only off the field problems, but last week now they've lost one of their top backups as a receiver in Trey Strauss, who's injured. So now you're talking about having a lot of young personnel outside of Andy Brodell. The rest of these receivers are experiencing college football and Big Ten football for the first time.
Loud crowd at Camp Randall. The first sack of the night for the Badgers. It was Aaron Henry, the nickel man.
Well, the pressure comes from the outside. Both linebackers are coming, and this is, again, something that Iowa's going to have to battle. At least Christensen ate it and allows the punter to come out instead of trying to force it and possibly turn the ball over. But miscommunication up front.
Ryan Donahue is punting. David Gilreath, the special teams player of the week, waves it off. It's not a good one. The kicking game has troubled Iowa. And let's meet the Wisconsin offense. And here's 37-year-old head coach Brett Bielema.
Starting under center today, quarterback Tyler Donovan, who's going to hand the ball off with success, hopefully, to P.J. Hill, our standout running back. Blocking downfield will be Luke Swan, our wide receiver, who can also catch the football. Some of the big uglies up front blocking for him. Our left tackle, Gabe Karimi, and the man that starts with every snap, Marcus Coleman from Minnesota.
So Coleman is over the ball. Donovan replaced John Stocco, a long-time quarterback here, who did an excellent job. You got the game plan. 39's the eye back. Play fake to him. Donovan's going to throw on first down. Plenty of time. Complete to the Hawkeye 39-yard line. Kyle Jefferson, the true freshman from Cleveland's Glenville High School, Kirk, 22 yards.
Well, this is something that I think you'll see a lot of with Tyler Donovan. I love the call on 1st and 10 play action. You're thinking P.J. Hill. It's a 3-level route that requires a lot of time for the quarterback. Swan clears out the zone, gives it Kyle Jefferson a nice hole to work with against that cover 2 look from Iowa, which we'll see a lot of tonight from the Hawkeyes.
True football fans should watch the battle between the offensive line of Wisconsin and the defensive line of Iowa. Coaches on both sides said that'll go a long way toward determining it. Advantage Badgers, great time, complete to Swan. And Swan is down at the 19-yard line. That's Tyler Donovan's go-to target, the senior from Wisconsin.
Another 1st and 10 call here. You love to see Wisconsin and Paul Chryst get aggressive at home, at night. Everybody's thinking P.J. Hill's going to run. Another play action. Iowa comes up. They're in perfect position for Swan to be able to make a play. Look at the Iowa linebackers. They're expecting Hill. By the time they realize it's play action, they try to look behind them. And again, the vacancy back there in the zone for the completion.
See if Norm Parker brings any more pressure just inside the red zone. They're going to keep it in the air. They think they got something going. Incomplete. They went high for Travis Beckham, the junior tight end from Milwaukee, who really is more of a wide receiver than a true tight end. I'll call him a tight end tonight, but that's a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah, it is. He's probably the best receiving tight end in college football at 6'4", about 225 pounds. You'll see him try to get isolated one-on-one throughout the entire game. They'll actually use formations to try to get him one-on-one against Moylan, one of the safeties, and also Dalton, the other.
They bring in Garrett Graham and Mickey Turner. Both are good blockers. Both are tight ends. And they will show that formation right now. And let's see if Hill gets his first carry. He will. Cut back to the middle. Slips through before he stops shy of the 15-yard line. Iwebama, Ken Iwebama, coming off a down year for him as a junior after being a star sophomore year, slowed by injuries. But now, Kirk, tough third down.
Tough call here. We've seen 4 plays. The first 3, of course, were the passes. They decided to run there. And Iwebama, not only is he key, Mitch King, Brian Madison, a lot of quickness from Iowa's front 4. And Brent, you touched on it, the quickness of Iowa's front against the size of Wisconsin's O-line.
Empty backfield now for Donovan. They're going downfield again. Fumble! Hawkeyes have got it on the move. Live football picked up by Brian Madison, son of Greg, who is one of the defensive coordinators for Urban Meyer in Florida, and he is a talent, folks, the senior. Klinkenberg forced that fumble.
Well, they motioned P.J. Hill out, and when they motion him out, they don't have enough offensive linemen in to protect the quarterback, and it allows Iowa and Klinkenberg to get in there. And you know what's crazy here, Brent, is Tyler Donovan is a very elusive quarterback. He didn't have any time to be able to utilize his speed and quickness because the blitz just came right on top of him. But when P.J. Hill motioned out, there was nobody left there to pick up that blitzing linebacker.
Short field, right at midfield.
That's what Iowa needed, Brent. After what happened last week and the start they're off to, it's exactly what this young offense needed.
Remember, it was 3 and out on their first series. Christensen on first down, swing now to Young. Young 45, first down, and pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line by Alan Langford.
This is exactly what Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator from Iowa, has to do. Much like we've seen from Wisconsin. Break some tendencies. You think of Big Ten football, you think of power running. When in this case, for Iowa to go to their strength, which is running the football with Albert Young and Damian Sims, they have to throw the football on 1st and 10 to alleviate all the pressure that is being put on their running game, and then that will open up the running lanes later in this game. That's a good call.
Jake Christensen is a sophomore quarterback from Lockport. Hands to Young. Young crosses the 30. Now remember, Young verbally committed, and we've got a face mask penalty tacked on. Young verbally committed, Kirk, to Wisconsin before he changed his mind and went to Iowa City.
Brett Bielema said for 6 months he was verbal. It was a done deal. And then a week before signing day, he decides to go to Iowa.
During the play, incidental 5-yard face mask. Number 2, defense. 5 yards from the end of the run. Results in a first down.
Referee is Dave Whitvote, and we've got an injured Hawkeye down on the field right now. And Moyaki, is that who is down? That's their fine tight end, Tony Moyaki.
There's the incidental face mask where they'll add the yardage on the back end. But one call prior to that, we talked about trying to get their playmakers. Use the playmakers in whichever way you can. They dumped it to the outside to Young, and then this time they went back to running the football.
Coach checking with Moyaki. He needs him as Brandon Myers, number 83, will check in. Sandeman, the freshman receiver, trots out. It's a first down. The ball is on the Badger 24 after that sudden turnover. Working from midfield. Offset eye. Young is still the Hawkeye running back. Christensen throw the swing, and he overthrew him that time.
You have a struggling offense like Iowa is, again, with the inexperience. It's tough to communicate on the road for the offensive line. One of the things you'll see defenses do is try to make them go to what they don't want to do, which is, in this case, Iowa throwing the football, especially on 3rd down. So to do that, Wisconsin will put a lot of people at the line of scrimmage to take away Albert Young and Damian Sims from running.
8 in the box on this play defensively for the Badgers. They knew it was coming in around now. And the Badgers have got it smoked. Tackle made by DeAndre Levy. Matthew Shaughnessy working with him on that play. It's a loss of 9 yards. James Cleveland, the redshirt freshman for Baytown, Texas, was trying to run the end around.
And Iowa is trying to take advantage of an aggressive defense playing at home that's flying to the football. But give credit here to Wisconsin and their defense. Very disciplined that time from Shaughnessy, who occupied the blockers, and Levy comes in to clean it up. Outstanding defense for a defense that's flying around right now with emotion, still showing the discipline to be an outstanding unit.
We've got a 3rd and 22. 3rd and 22 for the Hawkeyes. In the middle, and incomplete. Going right down the hole, and the Badgers safeties, the middle of that defense. And Ike Guanu, number 6 right there, one of the best corners in the Big Ten, came over. Simply call him Ike. And he was Ike on the spot. Kirk?
I like that. I like Ike.
That's
Ike Guanu roots for you, so I'll call him Ike today. It was a nice play.
So here's Donahue now. And so the Hawkeyes moved inside the 25-yard line, but the end around blew up the series. And so now Swan is back deep on Donahue's punt. And this one may be downed inside the 10, and it is. Hawkeyes jump on it at the 8-yard line. Well, folks, settle in. Big Ten football, and you're watching ESPN on ABC. Saturday night football action will continue next Saturday from the West Coast here on ABC. USC against the Washington Huskies. Saturday night football is presented by Southwest Airlines. We'll be on air at 8 Eastern, 7 right here in the Midwest, 5 Pacific. College football lives here. And now Tyler Donovan. Here is Hill into the middle of the defense and out to about the 8-yard line. And our Michelin defense, we have not yet met that outstanding Hawkeye defense. Let's go back and bring in the Rock again.
The Hawkeyes' game plan is to bring experience on the D-line with a pair of juniors and a pair of seniors returning from 2006. Iowa has one of the Big Ten's best linebackers in senior Mike Klinkenborg. Don't make fun of him because he will hurt you. And the secondary is led by senior quarterback Charles Godfrey from Baytown, Texas. Back to you, Brent.
Thank you very much, Rock. There's a new movie called out, a Disney movie called The Game Plan. And the game plan is to shake Hill loose here a little bit, Kirk. He's having tough sledding.
Well, he is having tough sledding. A matchup that we're going to watch throughout this game is going to be Wisconsin's size up front. Talking to teams that have tried to defend Wisconsin over the years, they say, you know, the linemen across the board, you're 6'8", 300 pounds, and then you put a big back behind them. Puts a lot of pressure on defenses. And what I found interesting in getting ready for this game is looking at Iowa with a Webama up front and Kroll and Mitch King and Brian Madison. You see their size. And even looking at 270 pounds, that might be giving them a few pounds. So it's more about Iowa's quickness with their front four, especially in pass protection against Wisconsin's big size.
Antoine Randall L's brother, Marcus Randall L, number 13, checks in for the Badgers. Incomplete, and Wisconsin is forced to punt.
Well, you go back to the turnover, Brandon. I know Iowa didn't score a touchdown, but they flipped the field. And on the road early, for Iowa to come up with a turnover, flip the field, and pin Wisconsin deep. The defense does their job, and all of a sudden a 3 and out, and Iowa's going to get great field position back.
Kenda Bush, fine punter with Andy Brodell, a sure-handed wideout. Standing at the Hawkeye 42-yard line, awaits this punt. Hawkeyes figure to keep good field position here, if nothing else. Great punt. Fielded at the 36. Right at midfield again. Another short field to work with. After that fumble, the turnover by the Badgers, the Hawkeyes have held the field advantage here. In Madison, great weather. Folks snacking in the stands here. We're scoreless, about 8 minutes to go. Christensen and the Hawkeyes from midfield again. And our first down, sprinting left, And complete. You know, Lisa, there have been some disciplinary problems with the Hawkeyes, and I know you were down in Iowa City. You had a chance to talk to Coach about it, too.
That's right, Brent. Well, the most recent incident happened just this week when the backup safety, Lance Tillison, was suspended for 2 games because he was arrested just on Sunday for DUI. Now, because of all the suspensions and the dismissals, Kirk Ferentz has imposed a 7-day-a-week curfew for his Hawkeyes. They've got to be off the streets by 10, in bed by midnight. Obviously, some of the seniors don't like it, but they say, hey, Coach did what he had to do. A lot of us have been abusing our privileges.
Yeah, exactly. Christensen's in trouble again in a foot race and throws it away. He saved the loss on that. He was outside of the tackle. Newkirk and Casillas giving chase.
Brent, you and I just referenced that Iowa was able to flip the field by getting that turnover, and the reason it's so important is when you have an offense that is struggling coming into this game. The last 3 weeks, they've been pretty erratic, especially game 1 against Northern Illinois, and really last week against Iowa State, where they had about 115 yards rushing. To be able to get some advantages are great, but now you've got to try to take advantage, and now it's another 3rd down for that offensive line when it comes to pass pro.
And I did not see Moeaki. Myers is the tight end. Christensen is in trouble again. As he's going out of bounds, did he step out first? They have pulled the trigger just in time, and Aaron Henry, the nickel man, all over him.
Well, the nickel man comes from the outside here, but you're also going to the outside, you see Henry, and you also see the blitz coming from the outside. When you bring a lot of pressure, and you have an offensive line that's trying to figure out where that pressure is coming from, you create confusion, and every single time Iowa's dropping back to throw, he's running for his life.
High punt, fair catch is signaled for, and the freshman makes it. David Gilreath at the 15-yard line. Hawkeyes are keeping field position pressure on the Badgers. We are scoreless in Madison. We are back. Madison, of course, the capital city of the state of Wisconsin. Badgers and the Iowa Hawkeyes are scoreless. 7.5 minutes to go. Wisconsin operating from just inside the 15-yard line. Hill is lined up behind the fullback. He'll get the carry. Nothing doing against that tough front. And Lisa, Moeaki was shaken up. What's the report from the Hawkeye sideline?
That's right, Brent. 2 injuries to report for the Hawkeyes offense. Number 81, their tight end, Tony Moeaki. They were over there working on his left wrist and forearm area. They have now iced it up, and I am told that he is questionable to return. Also, their right guard, number 63, Julian Vandeveld. They were working on his left ankle. They are also icing that up, and I'm told he is questionable as well. Brent?
Well, Lisa, those are big blows. Those are key guys for that front, Kirk, as you well know. Motion by Swan for the Badgers. On the release, going to the far side, over the top, and nothing much doing. Donovan taking a lick. Madison.
I really like Tyler Donovan. He's waited for his opportunity, 4 years for his chance now as a senior. Coaches kind of describe him as a gym rat. Fiery, competitive kid. Has great quickness, as we've seen over the years from the quarterbacks from Wisconsin. Has the ability to hurt you with his feet, as he did last year in his first career start against this very team, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Brooks Bollinger was the ultimate gym rat.
Oh, yeah.
Now a quarterback with the Minnesota Vikings. Here's Donovan. Offensive line gives him plenty of time. Couldn't find an open receiver, and he is short of the first down. He will be forced, the Badgers will, to punt as Mitch King, their fine defensive lineman, all over him.
Well, what Iowa decided to do here is they didn't want to bring a ton of pressure. Sometimes you see defenses bring pressure. This time they're literally 2 defensive linemen rushing. Webema gets in there, and when you drop 9 defenders in coverage, it's very difficult to find an open receiver.
DeBush back to punt again. Low snap. Good hands. Burdell is back deep. It's a great punt considering that snap. Back to the 27-yard line. Here comes the Hawkeye wideout, and he is smacked short of that 40-yard line. That was Ben Strickland down on coverage number 3. Well, reminder that the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup continues on ABC tomorrow afternoon. You know the NASCAR heavyweights are atop the chase. Clint Bowyer, an upset winner a week ago, and now they go to Dover, and it's at 1 Eastern with NASCAR Countdown. They'll probably go green about 2:15. First down and 10 now for Christensen and the Hawkeyes, but that punt drove them back inside their own 40-yard line. Now on first down, it's Young into the middle of the Badger defense that time. Casillas, number 2, is there for Brett Bielema.
Brett, Lisa mentioned that Moeaki is injured and he may not come back, and if you eliminate him from this offense to go along with the suspension of Douglas, the injury that they sustained to Trey Strauss, all of a sudden you're starting to look around to see who are experienced playmakers on this offense. And outside of Brodell on the outside, the only experience are the backs, Albert Young and Damian Sims.
Here is Young trying to cut back the daylight, makes the most of it to the 45-yard line. This will leave him about 3rd and 4th. And let's check in with Matt Weiner in New York. Matt?
Hey, Brett, here's a nominee for the Pontiac game-changing performance of the day. Number 2, LSU in South Carolina. And Les Miles coached up something special for his special teams. The kicker, Colt David, living the dream. First career rushing touchdown. It never got any better for the head ball coach. To nominate your game-changing performance, just go to ESPN.com.
That one stands pretty tall, Matt. This is a pretty good play off the kicking game, buddy. Christensen from the gun likes to roll to the left. Trapped. Out of bounds. Short of the first down marker across the way. The head linesman marks it about a yard short over there with the referee. Now let's see what there's an injured Hawkeye down.
Brent, it's the receiver Andy Brodell, who he wanted to throw the football to at the top of the screen. He makes a little outcut and just goes down. And once he went down, he never recovered. And it was exactly who the quarterback Christensen was looking at. I don't know if he got caught on the heel there of the Wisconsin player, or if that was just the turf.
Boy, they're becoming woefully thin at the receiver spot.
Well, Brodell's the only receiver left outside of the freshman.
He likes Sandeman.
Yeah.
Now Johnson Koulianis, what can he do for him?
Well, he's a redshirt freshman who came in as a quarterback from Youngstown Cardinal Mooney back in Ohio. He's a very gifted athlete, but still kind of feeling his way as a wide receiver. So we'll keep an eye on the health of Brodell.
Beginning to look like a mash unit over there on the Hawkeye bench. Gilreath back again here. Donahue will try to keep the Badgers bottled up. Signaling fair catch at the 17-yard line. So again, they're inside their own 20-yard line. Let's check it again with Lisa.
Well, Brent, just to tell you what kind of a guy Christensen is, Kirk Ferentz told us that after the loss up in Ames on Saturday, his quarterback was in the tape room as soon as he got off the team bus, went down to the tape room and just was watching tape for at least a couple of hours. Ferentz said he left the building and Christensen was still there. I asked Christensen about it. He said, you know what? The game was just eating me up. I had to get off my chest. I wanted to see my mistakes. And Ferentz says that's the kind of thing he wants to see from his quarterback.
And right now, it is Tyler Donovan and the Badgers trying to move the ball after their opening series in which a fumble turned it over. They haven't done much offensively. Donovan, given time, goes deep middle, double coverage, incomplete. He probed with Kyle Jefferson, the Cleveland freshman, and that was double coverage he was challenging. Charles Godfrey, the Hawkeyes' best corner, and Harold Dalton, the strong safety, who was there too.
Well, this is, even though you see Tyler Donovan as a senior, this is an example of his inexperience. Luke Swan, number 1, is going to come from the right to the left. Look how open he is in the middle of that defense. In this case, Tyler Donovan got so excited to throw the post to his young receiver Jefferson, he predetermined he was going to go downfield and take a shot at Jefferson. Didn't read the defense and find Luke Swan all alone in the middle of that defense.
Second down and 10. Donovan takes off, and his knee is down short of the 20-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and long for the Badgers. And we were told that this Hawkeye defense was certainly not the weak part of this team, Kirk. And when you watch that front and those linebackers, they get off the ball.
They sure do. They have a reputation of being a bend but don't break defense. Norm Parker has done a great job here as a defensive coordinator over the years. It's a defense that hasn't allowed a touchdown. People say, well, you know, look who they play. Well, tonight we're starting to see that this defense is the real deal. I think they have the best defensive front in the Big Ten.
Iwebama, number 92, their right defensive end, is causing the Badgers a lot of trouble. Battling through, Donovan gets it off, incomplete. Swan had curled in, and Donovan fired back to the outside and punting again. So the two main attractions here tonight are the two punters.
Well, the punters right now are affecting this game. Wisconsin's very fortunate to be in a position where it's 0-0. They've started at their own 20. Iowa's starting at their own 41. Big advantage with the field position.
So DeBush standing on his 5, and now a different return man. Remember, Brodell is hurt, so they've had to put a freshman in. Sandeman is driven back inside the 25. DeBush's big leg, and the freshman is stopped at the 30-yard line. Well, Lisa told you about the curfew and the discipline that Ferentz has had to hand out, and she then asked the quarterback Christensen about the Hawkeyes being disciplined.
We just have to police each other. You know, the coaches can't hold our hand and, you know, follow us around. And, you know, if the things hadn't happened earlier in camp, I'm sure it wouldn't have been as big of a deal as it is now. But, you know, we're in the spotlight now. We've made some mistakes, and, you know, it doesn't help that we're trying to prepare for a huge game against Wisconsin. And, you know, we just can't have little distractions like that. So, you know, putting a curfew on us, and that's the right thing to do. You know, it's just we need all our focus on football right now.
Jake, whose father played in the National Football League and is here tonight, hands off. And boy, if you don't have a passing game, Damian Sims has checked in for his series. He's a senior from Boynton Beach, Florida. He's one of the better backup running backs in the Big Ten, so he's getting a look. And Elijah Hodge.
Brad, I was going to go back. One thing I want to go back to that sound there from the player, Jake Christensen. At some point, when you have 4 players get into some trouble with the coach, the players have to be accountable. The leadership on the team also has to be accountable. It's not just the coach.
Tyler Gerstankirk checks in as the tight end now, and nothing doing for Sims. That is Newkirk and Elijah Hodge. You might remember the name Hodge. His brother, Abdul Hodge, was a great linebacker at Iowa. And he's on IR with the Green Bay Packers, expected to be here tonight. But here's his brother, number 52.
I'm going to tell you right now that Iowa is not going to be able to run the football tonight. Flat out, they will not be able to run the ball until they make a few things happen in the passing game. And with the injuries that they've sustained to go along with their concerns already coming in, you don't know if this is going to be possible to see them throw the football. And if they can't throw, they will not be able to run tonight against Wisconsin.
3rd down, nickel look. Christensen sprinting again for his life. Pushed out of bounds at the 19-yard line. And slowly but surely, Bielema's Badgers are regaining control of field position. They are going to back the Hawkeyes up for this punt. So the combination of DeBush and their defense is turning it around slowly.
Yep, and the inexperience again of a quarterback. Once he gets outside of the pocket, just throw it into the 15th row if you'd like, as long as it's past the line of scrimmage. Loses more yardage for Iowa.
Donahue is the punter. Gets it off. And the freshman lets it bounce, even though it took an Iowa hop. And finally, breathing a sigh of relief, the Badgers are able to open it up on this series a little bit. Let's check in with Lisa.
Well, Brent, as you guys said, things are going from bad to worse on the Hawkeyes offense. Number 80, their wide receiver, Andy Brodell, on the sideline now. They're calling it a leg injury, but I can see he has tape on the back, or he has ice, rather, taped to the back of his thigh. It looks like a hamstring injury, and they are saying that he is doubtful to return.
Oh, my, what a blow. As the injuries continue to add up over there. Donovan, he's missed his last 5. He started out 2 for 2. Staying on the ground, and Lance Smith is eaten up by Mitch King, number 47.
Well, I love Mitch King, one of the quickest interior players you'll see in college football. Doesn't have great size, has to use his agility and his first step. He's a wrestler, a guy that uses his hands as well as anybody. Between his quickness with his first step and his hands, he's able to get away from those offensive linemen and penetrate just like he did there. Right now, that big battle up front, the size of Wisconsin against the speed of Iowa, advantage to the Hawkeyes.
Second down. And the whistle prior to the snap. That's going to cost them.
Timeout.
They got the timeout
Wisconsin.
instead.
They're first.
So we'll take a break with the Badgers and the Hawkeyes. Big Ten opener. They are scoreless. Great aerial shots tonight, courtesy of our friends at Outback Steakhouse. The Outback Steakhouse airship, the Bloomin' Onion, provides aerial coverage for sporting events across the country. Second down and long coming up now for the Badgers. Just a little over half a minute left in the opening quarter. We are scoreless. Donovan has to step away, and he's going to get sacked. Fumble. Ball is loose. Iwebama punched it out. And Donovan able to pounce on it, but 92 causing him all kinds of grief here.
This is amazing to watch. Iowa getting pressure by rushing three. Iwebama one-on-one right there with Karimi, and he gets the best of him and puts the pressure. When you can get pressure like that by rushing three and dropping back 8, that's a huge advantage for you. And of course, Karimi is the guy who's trying to replace Joe Thomas, who coming into this game has been playing very well.
So the first quarter comes to an end, and ESPN Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Weekend continues, and just the smell around this stadium makes you hungry. That rascal Herbstreit whipped up a brat for me a little bit early, but
not bad, huh?
And I'm going to tell you, we're going to show you here in a moment how well this crew takes care of us up here. It's unbelievable, folks. 3rd and 15 now for the Badgers. Going to set a screen pass with Hill. Nothing doing. They're going to be forced to punt again. Humpel, the linebacker, making the stop. So here comes the punt now again. Two outstanding punters.
We're seeing a lot of them. I think in the 3 games we've done, this is our 4th. This is the most punting we've seen in one half, more than the 3 games we've done
Combined.
It's Big Ten football.
That's right. Sandeman is back deep. Without Brodell, let's see how the freshman handles it. At the 19-yard line. Here comes down, and you know, I told you folks that we were really taken care of. Here is Sue Hogg, the mother of Ben Hogg, who keeps us moving all over the United States.
Doesn't he ever?
Thank you so much, Kirk. I should let you go first. You had to travel up here from Tuscaloosa.
Gosh, I'm going to go with this chicken right here. Are you kidding me?
You going to get that chicken?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I got to have me another broad.
You going
here.
broad again?
I gotta have
You
the
doubling
broad.
down on me?
Sue, thank you so much. You took care of the whole crew the other night. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
And then Lisa goes over and does a little Pilates with you in there. A little exercise, huh?
She's telling me I got to get into the Pilates.
I was busy with the 3 deeps.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Looks great. Thank you.
Christensen deflected, incomplete. Second down and 10.
Before they punt again, you want to just knock that broad out?
No, you caught me with my mouth full.
A punt is imminent. I feel another one coming. If I at least
Kirk is playing the favorites. He feels another punt coming on me. Christensen sprinting, tossing complete for a first down that time. And let us check in with New York.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Weiner in New York, here to keep you up to date throughout the evening. Now let's start with this Taco Bell update from Fayetteville, where the momentum has shifted from Kentucky to Arkansas. The Razorbacks get a safety on the free kick. Felix Jones takes it back 82 yards. Fourth kickoff return for a touchdown of his career. Very quick, 9 points, and the Hogs lead by 8.
All right, Matt, here we are, scoreless. Christensen stands tall, incomplete. And well defended by Elijah Hodge, the linebacker. He's here, and boy, if his brother's right there on the sideline watching, he's got to be proud of him. But Abdul said one thing. He said, I want my brother to play well, but Iowa's my team, and I can't pull against my team. You know?
That's a tough choice here, but of course he's going to be pulling for his brother. What we're seeing now from Iowa is really their only choice. I keep talking about it because it's what they have to do. They've got to continue to throw the football to have any chance of opening up the running lanes.
Which is exactly what they're trying to do here, Kirk.
What's happened is Wisconsin doesn't respect the pass at all. And why should they? Iowa hasn't proven the ability to throw the football. So they're loading everybody up to stop the run and trying to get Christensen and this young offensive line on the road into a third down and long situation. And here we are again. 3rd and 7 for this offensive line and for Jake Christensen, which makes it very tough to execute for this group.
Chaney being forced into service here. Made that last catch. Sandeman is off to the right. Tom Bush is the fullback. He's in the backfield, and we've got a timeout here called by the Hawkeyes. So the Hawkeyes use a timeout for Coach Kirk Ferentz, who's involved in same kind of game he was involved against Iowa State, and they came up short in a battle of the field goals last week.
Well, we have seen some great defense or some offenses that are struggling to really find any kind of continuity. This has been something that has been bothering Iowa going back to last week against Iowa State. What's been surprising is the way Iowa's defense has been able to manhandle Wisconsin up front. They've controlled that part of the line of scrimmage, putting plenty of pressure on Tyler Donovan, and it's gone back and forth and back and forth. And eventually, we're going to see somebody put together a drive and maybe get close enough to have maybe a field goal attempt.
So again, Tony Moiaki and Andy Brodell have been forced out. So Colin Sandeman, true freshman from Bettendorf, Iowa, and Kevin Chaney, a redshirt freshman from St. Louis, are forced into action here for the Hawks. And Jake faces another passing situation. Flips one out to the side, no first down. And Kirk, on the money, man, is Casillas is on Damian Sims that time, and here comes the punter.
Yep, they're going to have to punt again. At least you're getting the ball into the hands of an experienced playmaker who can give you a chance to be able to move the sticks. That time, Casillas is there in man-to-man coverage to make the play.
Punt number 6. He's already punted 5 times in this game. Kirk, I think you're right. Unbelievable, huh? Gilreath, special teams play, off him, fumble, and he goes back hard after it.
That's what's going to decide the outcome of this game is whoever is able to capitalize on a turnover or in the field position is going to win this football game.
Well, that's why it's a risk sometimes to use a freshman to return punts. That's why you'll see the veterans come on when it's a critical time. Folks, you're watching a scoreless game. ESPN on ABC. All right, 12:57 remaining in the first half. P.J. Hill has been bottled up much of the time. Young man from East Elmhurst, New York, out here in the Midwest. Here he is carrying the ball. Got a good 5 yards, and we asked P.J. why he chose Wisconsin.
When I started at prep school in Brooklyn, and you know, New York's not really big on football, it's more basketball. So I just started to get looks from colleges. Wisconsin was one of the best colleges that I had out of all the colleges that were looking at me. So I really didn't get a lot of big colleges. So I heard about, you know, the history, you know, Ron Dayne and the good running backs that they produced. So I just wanted to come to a school that had good academics and it would make me the best running back that I could be.
So 2 consecutive carries, a little bit short of that yellow first down marker. Picked up another yard. Eads the sophomore linebacker from Greenwood, Indiana, making the stop for the Hawks.
There are 12 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Looking at these two teams who are known over the years for having the ability to run the ball. P.J. Hill over 1,500 yards last year. Wisconsin right now -1 in rushing offense. Iowa -7 rushing offense.
Norm Parker, outstanding veteran defensive tactician for the Hawks. Donovan sprinting right, complete, got a first down. So that time he picks up Travis Beckham, the junior from Wisconsin State. And Charles Godfrey, the corner, makes the stop on number 9.
Well, Beckham, as we keep talking about, is a receiver playing tight end. They motion him. The one thing that Norm Parker said he's most concerned about is the way they move Beckham. He is not stationary. They'll move him around to try to get him isolated one-on-one. And that time against Godfrey, and Norm Parker knew it was coming, but he could not stop him before they got a first down.
Another freshman, Kirk, David Gilreath, on the field for the Badgers. He's split out to the right. Got him on an end around. Trapped. Hawkeyes stayed at home that time, and there's a penalty flag thrown on the play.
Looks like they're going to get a hold there on Wisconsin.
Mickey Turner was coming back on the play, number 36, the sophomore.
I think you and I were thinking the same thing when Gilreath checked into the game. You're thinking razzle-dazzle, reverse, speedster.
During the play, holding, 36, offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
Yeah, that's what it was. Turner was peeling back and was guilty of the infraction, and that puts Bielema's Badgers back in a hole now. Vanden Heuvel, the right tackle, number 71, 325-pounder from Hudson, Wisconsin. Badgers generally have a couple of outstanding offensive linemen. They go empty now for Donovan. Offensive line giving him enough time, they think. He dances. Surrounded, did not get back to the original line of scrimmage, so it is going to be second down and long. Eads being very active, the linebacker from Indiana.
What a great job with the coverage by Iowa. They've done this the entire first half. There's a lot of movement, a lot of crossing in front of the linebackers, and the reason that Donovan has to use his feet is because there's nobody open. He's very fortunate to be able to get away from that pressure because he has the quickness. But Iowa had every single wide receiver that went out was covered by at least one Hawkeye.
And when you saw Jefferson finally break free, Donovan was already in trouble and had been chased out of the protective pocket. They come back with Hill on third down, and this is going to be, I should say, second down and long. This will make it third down and long, and Mike Humpel. So Humpel, Klinkenborg, and Eads, three outstanding linebackers.
You add those three linebackers right to the front four that they have. You have 6 very experienced players who have seen a lot of Big Ten football, and I think this is the kind of football that these linebackers on these two teams enjoy. Not the spread look, roll up your sleeves and let's just roll it up and see who's tougher.
This is John Madden kind of football.
That's right.
I remember the old coach saying he used to like these scoreless duels, old-fashioned football. Donovan, he's got time, can go deep. Swan stopped, has to be a defensive back. He had come up short, and he has to be defensive back on Harold Dalton that time.
This is another case where we see Tyler Donovan. This time he has time to throw, and instead of locking in on Jefferson, who he locked on a little earlier, this time Jefferson breaks free at the middle of the field right there. Safety's coming over, and the reason he's coming over is because he's reacting to the ball. But if the ball would have been thrown on time, he had Kyle Jefferson down the middle. Instead, he throws into double coverage.
The 5th punt for the Badgers. So we've had a total of 11 punts so far in this game. The freshman, Sandeman, taking no chances. And it'll be down just inside the 20-yard line. So for sophomore quarterback Jake Christensen from Lockport, Illinois. They got to march 80 yards and 1 yard is hard to come by in this game.
Nissan Titan is a Strategic Vision Total Quality Award leader. It's also the only truck tough enough to deliver college football's most coveted award. The Heisman, brought to you by the Nissan Titan.
Andy. Andrew.
He can't hear you, Dad.
What do you mean he can't hear me? He's right there.
He's televisophoner netting.
What?
Televisophoner netting.
Telefizzy photo whatty?
Televisophoner netting.
Isn't that what I said?
Televisophoner netting, made possible by the Comcast Triple Play. Experience TV, phone, and internet together like never before. It's Comcastic.
Hear about Fensky? No. Got hurt, missed work. Thought his major medical was enough. Poor guy. Didn't have Aflac.
What does Aflac do?
Let's say this is major medical, right? Well, see the hole? That's where Aflac comes in. Helps pay for groceries, rent, all kinds of bills. Major medical? Poor Fensky. He thought he had enough coverage.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Welcome to Lazy Boy.
Hi, I hear you sell sofas and stuff.
Yep, we're not just recliners.
Oh, good. My living room is not so comfortable.
Why don't you try this?
Hey, buddy.
Comfort. It's what we do. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit Southwest.com. The Nissan Titan, proud presenter of the 2007 Heisman. Aflac, ask about it at work. And DLP HD TV. DLP is the official ESPN on ABC HD telecast sponsor of college football.
So our tailgate weekend continues here from Madison, Wisconsin. A tough Big Ten defensive battle, Kirk.
Got to throw the football here.
They show power eye, and they're not. They're going to keep it on the ground, and Albert Young back as a running back doesn't get much because Newkirk is there. Take a look at the Pacific Live game summary. The numbers tell the same story that we've been telling you. Offense very, very hard to come by. Combined 6 first downs, and take a look at the yardage that these two teams have put up.
Brent, I'm trying to get excited about the defense. I like to go to Major League Baseball. I like to watch a good pitcher's duel. I enjoy that. This is just bad offense. This has taken the Big Ten a step or two even further back from what we've seen so far.
Second down and 9. Christensen's in trouble. Shakes the first tackler and throws complete to Brandon Myers, the tight end who's been forced in because of Tony Moyaki, but there is a flag down on the ground. Aubrey Pleasant, the fine Badger safety, was closing in. He's a junior from Flint, Michigan there, number 8. Remember, their safeties had to be replaced, and Bielema wasn't sure how they would hold up. And he says they're doing fine.
During the pass play, personal foul, dressed in a face mask, number 8, defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That's one way to get a first down, to take the personal foul and take 15. But this is what we have seen from Iowa throughout this year. Blitzing, confusing, right there. Look at the offensive line. He's coming out here to block. They're coming here, and here comes a guy scot-free, right down the middle. I know there's 15 yards on Pleasant, but it's another example of sitting back there, and as an inexperienced quarterback, you get a little gun-shy when every single time you drop back to throw, there's a linebacker or a safety coming free right towards you. How do you execute?
Johnson Koulianis back on the field for the Hawkeyes, number 15, a redshirt freshman. He's out wide to the left. Christensen with time, dropped. That was right on the money, and James Cleveland dropped it. And let's check in again with Matt in New York.
All right, Brent, let's get a check of your primetime pulse on ESPN. Georgia leads Alabama 10-3 at halftime. Dogs a terrific SEC road team. Hawkeyes and Badgers in Madtown is what you're watching. And on ESPN2, getting to be crunch time in Fayetteville. Terrific game between Kentucky and Arkansas. Hogs lead it by 2 with less than 5 minutes to go.
And there's another one going on out west, and USC leads Washington State 14-7. Matt, that's the one that this audience wants to be kept in touch with. That's the #1 team in the country. We'll be out in Seattle next week. Now comes second down and 10. Batted down, incomplete. And Shaughnessy thought he should have had the interception.
We always used a reference zone blitz. What this term means is it's a way of blitzing and then dropping the defensive end and still playing zone. Watch the defensive end where he comes from. Shaughnessy's lined up. You're thinking he's coming? No, he surprises again the quarterback by not realizing that he's coming from a down position to coming up. It's a good way to apply pressure and still be conservative on the back end and play zone.
Third down and 10. Here comes the blitz. Christensen's in trouble in a foot race. Gets it off. Has to throw it away as Elijah Hodge was closing the escape hatch.
I don't know about you, Brent, but on third down, Iowa might consider punting. Just for the welfare of the quarterback, Christensen. I mean, by the time he hits that last step, he's got 2 or 3 guys locking in on him, and inevitably he's scrambling and throwing it away.
7th punt. By the Hawkeye, Ryan Donahue. He bangs it. Fair catch signaled for at the 21-yard line. And that time Gilreath hangs right on to it. Late in the first half, we're still scoreless, and you're watching ESPN on ABC.
HD? HD. Thoughts? Lots of thoughts. LCD, plasma.
Kiva, surround sound, head spinning.
Deep breath. Likes? Cowboy explosions. Touchdown robots.
Cooking, tearjerkers, crime dramas.
Sing-along musicals.
This system, LG Home Theater, perfect fit. Mechanically inclined?
Emergency room inclined.
We install.
We pledge a complete home theater experience and now save $200 off an LG HD TV with installation. That's HD done right at Best Buy.
Retirement isn't just about spending endless hours enjoying warm tropical waters. It's not even just about leaping and jumping for joy because you planned ahead smartly. And it's not even about sharing time with family and friends over a great meal whenever you want. Or is it? It's time to start thinking about tomorrow. Ask your financial professional about Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
Ooh, the never-ending pasta bowl is going on.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I had no idea.
Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl with new smoked mozzarella Alfredo. Pick any sauce and pasta combination, then another. Just $8.95. Have all you want.
Everybody up! We up!
Lay it on the line until the final whistle blows, and if you do that, we cannot lose.
New York Marshall. Buy it now on DVD and high def. Only the Nissan Titan has a Utilitrack cargo system and the longest crew cab bed in its class. You choose the tie-down points, you choose the angle. Because Nissan thinks when you put something in your bed, it should stay there. The new 2008 full-size Nissan Titan, the Titan of trucks. Now get up to $3,500 Nissan cash back or 1.9% APR financing.
Get some dirty, sexy money. Premieres Wednesday, 10/9 Central on ABC.
In search of offense from Madison, Wisconsin. We're going to find some. I'm going to try a trick play right after this one. Right after we see first down here for the Badgers, I'm going to bring in a man who can give us some instant offense, okay? He is coming. I promise you. Here comes Donovan rolling hard right. Hey, how about that on cue? You know why? Because Al Toon, one of the greatest Badgers of them all, is down below watching us because his son, Nick, is a redshirt Freshman, see, Al, nice to have you here with us tonight. I'll tell you, get out there and catch a few for us.
Well, thanks for inviting me. I don't know if they want me out there now, though.
Hang with us here a few minutes. Kirk's got a couple of questions for you. That was
good.
a first down pass now. Kyle Jefferson, another one of the freshmen, made the reception, and Donovan brings him up to the line. Running with his backup running back. That's Lance Smith, Kirk.
I'd like to ask you, in your days as a player, I don't know if you've been involved in a game where it's been this sluggish early, but what can be said on the offensive side, on the sidelines and in the huddle to try to help generate some offense?
Well, the thing they have to consider is that Iowa's a good defense, and they just have to keep chipping away at them, and eventually something will break.
Second down, of course, like I said, we're going to ask Al about his son, Nick, who is a freshman. And Coach Bielema said he thought about using him this year, but he's going to be too valuable down the road. Second down for the Badgers. Bobble the snap. Got the handle in time. Incomplete. It'll be third down. Al, tell us about son Nick. Is he also a long jumper? Is he a track and field guy?
Well, he did track for a couple of years, but he decided to focus on football towards the end. But he's a great kid, and we love him, and obviously we wish him the best. He loves it here in Wisconsin. He's comfortable here. Great coaching staff, great atmosphere, as you can see. You know, what more can you ask?
Al, how much different is it being a father watching his son grow up compared to being a player yourself?
Well, the biggest difference is I don't have the controls. He has the controls right now, and it's difficult as a parent to watch a player, your son or a child, go out and play football and, you know, get tackled. He just wins every time they're on the field.
Swan comes in motion. Donovan is back. Pocket collapses, and he's sacked at the 32-yard line. Madison, number 99, who recovered that fumble, coming in on top of him. Got a penalty flag that is being thrown, and that probably is
during the play.
Holding.
Number 68 offense. The penalty is declined. Fourth down.
We've seen this front from Iowa get pressure time after time. And what's different about tonight's defense from Iowa compared to what usually we see week to week is it's not a lot of creativity with zone pressure and putting a lot of pressure with bringing linebackers and safeties. They're just getting pressure with 3, sometimes 4 defensive linemen.
Not a good punt. He's probably got a tired leg, folks. They'll let that one hold dead at about the 34-yard line. Well, you know, we're talking to one of the greatest, actually, Big Ten receivers, Al Toon. He set all the records up here at Wisconsin. And Al, we're going to roll a little footage of you in action. Who were the quarterbacks who were throwing to you here in Madison?
Well, I had Randall Wright, and then I had Mike Howard my senior year. Randy ended up playing for the Green Bay Packers for a while, so it was a pretty good talent.
I can still remember Al stretching out, number 87. And, of course, then he went on with the New York Jets. Played 8 years, and I'm going to ask him about, because I recall he's one of the first concussion guys, and that's incompletely second out of 10. And Al, you know, back in those days, honestly, not much was made out of concussions, and they've come a long way from that now, haven't they, around the National Football League?
Well, I think they've done a great job of focusing on the dangers of concussions and having a player sustain one and what the timing is, or requirements of healing, and so they're doing a lot of research to make sure that the athlete is safe before they go back out on the field. I think it's very important.
Yeah, and I saw Mike Dick and some of the fellows testifying for some of the old timers, and I'm sure that you're solidly on the side of the retired guys getting benefits, right, from the National Football League?
Oh, absolutely.
Second down and 10 now. And they run Albert Young. Well, listen, Al, thanks for dropping by tonight, and we wish you and your fine-looking son, Nick, nothing but the best here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Have a good day.
Al Toon, one of the best Badgers ever. I'll tell you, sir. He was great.
A lot of big catches, and we'll be seeing a lot of big catches.
Did you intercept
from Nick? Just when I got to Ohio State, he had left maybe a year or two before. I remember watching him. What a great player.
Third down now for the Hawkeyes. Young is a running back. Take it down for negative yardage. And that was Kirk DeKramer, the backup, the redshirt freshman from Middleton, Wisconsin, making the play. All right, here's your matchup.
Well, this is what I wanted to see. At some point, we got to have the tail of the tape, right? I mean, this is what the game really comes down to. When you get into the Big Ten, the punter becomes the most valuable player on the offensive side. And these two boys have been going back and forth. 7 and 6 punts. Now we're at, what is this, 7 and 7 or 8 and 6?
And Swan, a new return man, covers that one up at the 25. And hey, guess what? We're still scoreless. There's a shock. We're watching ESPN on ABC.
So I hear you found a cure for the blood.
When's it happen?
Every Sunday. Post pattern, streaking into the end zone. The national TV, no less.
The mirrors will clear you up.
Now I can do my dance, baby. Oh, yeah, bring it down.
Go, baby.
It's amazing.
It's the mirrors.
DLP HD TV. Millions of tiny mirrors take motion blur out of sports action.
Save big at Circuit City and CircuitCity.com on select DLP HD TVs.
Being careful, it's very important to me because I have genital herpes.
And I don't. Being careful? It's why I take Valtrex once a day. I thought it was okay between outbreaks. Then I learned something.
One study found that up to 70% of people who had genital herpes got it from their partner when they had no signs of an outbreak.
So you can still pass it on at any time.
Being careful
means knowing I'm doing all I can to reduce my risk of passing it on to her. That's why I take Valtrex once a day.
Valtrex is the only medication proven to reduce the risk of spreading genital herpes.
Always use safer sex practices with daily therapy, which also includes avoiding sexual contact when you get or think you're getting an outbreak. There's no cure for herpes. Even with treatment, it's possible to spread herpes. Valtrex is for adults with healthy immune systems. To avoid a potentially serious complication, tell your doctor if your immune system isn't normal because of bone marrow or kidney transplant or advanced HIV disease.
Being careful, it feels good.
Ask your doctor about once daily Valtrex and save up to $10 on each prescription at Valtrex.com.
Beautiful night in Madison. Neither quarterback able to do much against these defenses. Wisconsin's won 12 in a row. Longest win streak in the nation. It includes a win over the SEC in a bowl game. Beat Arkansas down in Orlando on January 1st. Play fake. Donovan going to put it up on first down. He's got time. He got an open man. Swan picked off. Intercepted at the 46 by A.J. Eads. The sophomore linebackers all over the field.
This is exactly, we keep talking about it during the show, we keep talking about it at breaks. Which defense is going to come up with an opportunity to give their offense a short field? Which special teams might come up with a play? This time Eads drops back. There was nothing in front of him to make him come up in coverage. So it was very easy to sink back and get underneath the throw to Swan and make a beautiful interception for Iowa.
The Hawkeyes are going to go empty and send Sims in. And they have slotted him over to the right. He's the backup running back. And they're going to fire the ball to him. And on first down, out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So a completely different look. They send Sims, good receiver, senior from Florida, and they'll use him now as Donovan has served up his first INT in his last 89 throws.
Well, he's been making great decisions as a starting quarterback. And, you know, if you're just joining us, Iowa's struggling, and the injuries are mounting, and all of a sudden they're turning to a very inexperienced group of receivers. So you're seeing Damian Sims and Albert Young moved around to try to help make some plays for this offense.
Now Sims, and he is wrestled down by Levy.
There's Brodell, wide receiver and big tight end.
Boy, that is just on top of the suspensions, and Hawkeyes are 0 of 8 on third down. Dominique Douglas kicked off the team. Now they lose Brodell, Moe Aki. That's 3, folks. That's their big 3. There's no wonder why they're struggling. Christensen going to try to throw for it, and does. First down at the 28-yard line. And Johnson Koulianis, you said to keep an eye on him, Kirk, the young man from Cardinal Mooney.
Well, they need Johnson Koulianis to step up and emerge. The sooner the better. Great throw. One of the few we've seen tonight. The offense executing. Third down. Surprising to see Langford off so much and giving such cushion, but they're able to execute and pick up the first down. And again, these young players are having to step up to help out Jake Christensen.
Koulianis stays on the field. Cleveland's the other wide out. Come back with Sims, who dances behind the right side, but the Badgers were right there at the point of attack. Well, time for our Aflac trivia question. And now, folks, think about this one. Who were the captains for Iowa and Ohio State back in 1992? Give it a little thought. I'll tell you, one of those rascals has a Hawkeye tattoo on his left ankle, just above it. There's the only hint I'm giving you. Second down now, and 10. Short drop. Snaps it off. Incomplete on the slant. Tried to go to Johnson Koulianis. And Ike was there. Boy, Ike could come on it. Good.
Yeah, Ike has such quickness and closing speed. It was on display last year in the bowl game against Arkansas when he chased down Darren McFadden. But his reaction time to the ball being in the air is what makes him one of the top corners in this Big Ten Conference. Good size, too. 6'1", about 195 pounds.
Third down. All Cheney on the field for Christensen. Tries to throw the flanker screen to him to the 24, and it'll be fourth down. Now, the story about their kicker. They are without Austin Signor tonight because of a hip flexor. So Daniel Murray trots onto the field. Folks, this is his first attempt at the collegiate level. Has he kicked an extra point? Has he kicked the field goal? Has kicked off for the Hawkeyes. Ryan Donahue, the punter, will put it down from 41 yards, number 1. You think he's not nervous? Long enough. Looks good. The Hawkeyes strike first.
He is fired up. And Brent, the way this game's going, that could decide the outcome. That was a lot of pressure there.
Kirk Herbstreit saying to one and all, stick on the under, folks. He got that up, boys and girls. I'll tell you.
Hey, for a kicker to step into this environment, I asked the coaches on the field prior to the game, how long has he been the guy? I mean, how long has he felt the pressure of being the starting field goal kicker for you guys? Pause. About 3 days.
He's a mechanical engineering major. Let's go down to Lisa.
And Brent, get this, their starting field goal kicker, I'm told that he got injured during the walkthrough today, that he injured himself. So when I asked Daniel Murray, I said, hey, you got any nerves while he was warming up this afternoon before the game? And he said, not yet. And then over on the sideline, I said, hey, the way this game is going, you could be the deciding factor. And he just got this wide-eyed look on his face. Yep, he's a freshman.
Yeah, we went in with the meeting with coaches. He said, oh, by the way, we got one lineup change. I said, what's that, coach? He said, Signor's not kicking. It'll be young Daniel Murray. And I said, not getting any better for you, is it? So here we go. He's got the ball on the tee. He put the Hawkeyes ahead here. This one will be fielded at about the 3-yard line. And here's Gilraith, that freshman again. Big hole in the middle. Can he expose it? Closes quickly at about the 28-yard line. Okay, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who were the captains for the Hawkeyes and the Buckeyes in '92? Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The man on the left, Kirk Herbstreit. And Brett Bielema was the nose man for the Hawkeyes. And to this day, he's got the Hawkeye tattoo just above the left ankle bone. I said, Coach, lift your leg. We want to get... I don't think so. There he is down on the sideline, I'm telling you. Now, I got to ask Kirk a couple questions about those two captains. First down, snaps it off, and they put the ball back in the hands of Beckham. And so let me ask you this. The two captains, did you ever meet Helmets? Did he ever sack you or anything?
I kind of outran him. I got away from it. I had to quit this. But I asked him, I said, man, you were a captain. I said, you were a captain for Iowa. Now when you coach as a head coach against him, you got to get fired up. And he said, he's trying to give me the coach talk. Hey, it's get ready for every game, 1 week at a time. And then he said, you know what? Deep down, there's a little bit of extra fire for the Hawkeyes. He loves them, respects them. Absolutely. But this is fire, definitely.
We've got an injured, we also knew another injured Iowa player. That's Adam Shatta, their starting corner, number 19. Let's see how they, who they send out there to play. Well, one of the things back to Bielema and the Hawkeyes, he was a walk-on. That's right. He was offered some scholarships at small school. Illinois was a little bit interested in him, but his father was a traveling salesman for a sporting goods company. And Bernie Wyatt, assistant coach, and he were good friends, and they said, come on, walk on. And after 1 year, Hayden Fry's staff gave him a scholarship, and the rest of his day is history. Wide open Swan for the Badgers to the 40-yard line. Now that's it. Speaking of walk-ons, here he is, Swan.
Well, this time Swan gets deeper, and you can see the linebackers this time cannot stay with him deeper downfield. Klinkenborg trying to get back, but the ball gets thrown right over top of him and the corner, and a nice throw that time by Tyler Donovan.
Minute and a half to work with. That's a 29-yard gain on one play. And play fake now by Donovan. Pocket holds, wide open underneath the running back, Hill. And Hill with another first down. Clock will stop there at the 27-yard line. Eads, whose interception set up the field goal, makes the stop for them. And Kirk, we got a minute and a half here.
Well, sometimes when a quarterback in an offense that's been struggling for the half gets into a 2-minute drill, there's less thinking. All of a sudden you get out there and you're just reacting and letting plays happen. Not to mention Iowa's defense is losing some of their aggression right now in their prevent defense.
And the Badgers have an excellent veteran kicker from Aberdeen, South Dakota, Melhoff. And they're down there getting into his range right now, so they can probe. And they do. They keep it in the air. Jefferson busted out at the 20-yard line. It'll be second and short, down to 1:11.
Did a nice job of utilizing P.J. Hill as a decoy. Sent him on a wheel route down the left sideline. He took two defenders with him, and it opened up very nicely for Kyle Jefferson underneath to make a catch.
Second down and 3. You can see the timeouts right underneath Wisconsin at the top. See those two yellow hash marks. 2 timeouts left for them. One, of course, on the other side for the Hawkeyes. But a lot of time here. 1:11. Clock stops. And this defense is being pushed around here. Second down. They forced one fumble here tonight, and the whistle before the play, and the bench might have called. Yeah, timeout. So Bielema's bench calls that timeout. They want to talk to Tyler Donovan, the senior from Heartland, Wisconsin. Let us send you to New York, and here's Matt Weiner.
All right, Brett, this SportsCenter Minute powered by VizU on a day that Appalachian State lost its conference opener. Michigan's perfect in the Big Ten. Mike Hart carried it 44 times. Big Blue beat Penn State 14-9. And from the big house to the bigs, the Yanks win again. Melky Cabrera with a walk-off hit in the bottom of the 10th. The Yanks are now 2 back of the Red Sox, who are playing and leading in Tampa as we speak. We'll keep you up to date. 12-11 Yanks in the books.
And meanwhile, out in the Coliseum, we are told the USC is starting to pull away 27-7 right now, Kirk, over Washington State.
Bit of a slow start. Great athletes, Alex Brink from Washington State. They can throw it around, but SC's defense must be playing well. But the game of the day at this point, Michigan at home against Penn State in Michigan. And Mike Hart, boy, what a tough runner. Going to go down in history as probably the best Michigan running back as far as the yardage is concerned. And today they rode him, especially in the second half, to a big win at home.
And Appalachian State losing, Matt. That's a biggie. And here comes Hill. He's got daylight left side. End zone. Fumble at the end zone. He put it down. The Hawkeyes jump on the ball. It is still loose. And now the Badgers go for it. They've got to sort this out. Instant replay will come into play here, folks. If it was still a free football and the Badgers fall on it, it's going to be a touchdown. But we're going to have to let it sort out now with this Big Ten crew.
The ball was fumbled at the 1-yard line. Wisconsin recovered in the end zone. It is a touchdown.
There's the ruling on the field. So the ruling is touchdown. You take a look here now.
The ball is definitely out before he gets into the end zone. Some melee there, and initially it looked like Iowa was all over the football. What a great effort here by Eads to get his arm in there. It's a definite fumble before he gets in. Well, there are 3 or 4 Hawkeyes all over him. And somehow, at least according to the officials on the field, the Badgers are able to come up with it. Look at all those white jerseys. There's 4 or 5 white jerseys and 1 red jersey. The ball kept coming out until it somehow ended up in the back of the end zone. They're saying that nobody had possession of the ball here. I find that hard to believe. How did the ball get from the bottom of 7 people and bounce to the outside?
Meanwhile, Jimmy Augustine, he's the technical advisor. He's running it back and forth and forward and backward over here. Jim Kimmerling, former referee, is the communicator with this crew. They're taking a look at it. Ball came free into the end zone for just a moment. It looked like the Hawkeyes had a touchback on it, but then it bounced free again. And the question is, was it downed in that end zone at any time by Iowa? Remember, the ruling on the field is touchdown Wisconsin. It must be indisputable. Jimmy Augustine must have indisputable video evidence that the Hawkeyes recovered that, or it'll be 6 for the Badgers. There's a review now with the Dave.
Brett, while we're waiting for the officials, I want people to realize this is what makes P.J. Hill so special. This play is designed to go to the right, comes back in a nice cutback, and it's one of those plays where you set it up to the right and then you come back to the left off a little bit of a kind of a counter trap, and it opened it up. Let's watch right here. How does the ball? There it is.
It just comes out of there.
Ball just pops out.
Yeah, and remember, see, there's the umpire. Had a view of it. He's looking in back, and now he goes over. The ball came bouncing out free. Marcus Coleman, the center, was down in the end zone along with some of his buddies. The ball just seemed to squirt out of there. When you saw it live at the first replay, you thought the Hawkeyes had it down there at the end, and then it just squirted out.
Well, there's no way to look at that video and be able to decipher when they initially all landed on top of the ball, whether a Hawkeye or a Badger was on top of it. So I don't think there's going to be any way to be able to look at the video and having evidence to say there's definitely a Hawkeye on top of the football. Therefore, it would be a touchback. I just can't imagine how they could be able to decipher between the players that were laying on top of the ball. See if the referee here.
Let's let this run all the way now. There for a moment.
The umpire with a pretty good look at it.
He was coming in thinking the ball was there, and suddenly it shoots out. See the Badgers take out after it?
Well, the linesman coming in from the top, Brent, he's calling the play dead, but I don't think he could see that the ball had popped out from the other side, so I'm sure he got overruled by the umpire.
But did he blow his whistle?
Right.
Did he whistle it dead at that moment? That would be one of the conferences that you'd want to have if he killed it down there. Oh, that's a great look. It came right back out. Now, I'm not sure we'll hear the whistle, but we'll try. I heard the whistle. I distinctly heard the whistle, and you don't always do that on a replay, but I'm assuming that linesman came in there and killed it.
Help me out with this.
But now the audio is not heard in the instant replay, but I'll pass that on to the audience.
Right.
Okay, we have just
heard on the
something
field
that they don't receive.
The referee in a case like this, if we were out in the middle of the field and an umpire or linesman came in and blew the whistle and said he was down, that play could not be reviewed if, in fact, he was called down. In this case, the fact that they're reviewing it tells you that
if the Hawkeyes stopped with that whistle, they've got a very legitimate argument.
Sure.
Now the linesman is down there with Dave. Again, Dave Whitvote is our referee. Jeff Carr is the umpire that you saw. The linesman, Mike Mahowski. The side judge is Terry Anderson. Vielman getting a little confirmation with.
He looks happy. He's not going crazy.
After review, there was an inadvertent whistle blown while the ball was loose in the end zone.
Absolutely.
Wisconsin has chosen to take the ball at the end of where the ball was fumbled. It will be second down.
I didn't think it was that early a whistle.
Now that one puzzles me because the inadvertent whistle.
Inadvertent whistle that was blown after the ball was allegedly recovered.
All right, let's listen again now for this inadvertent whistle.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure the end game is correct, but listen. There's the whistle.
The whistle was blown because
you know what?
They thought it was recovered.
You know what? Now, obviously, Ferentz is going to seek an explanation because, in his view, they had the ball and should come out on the 20. Now, I have to say, as I think about it, the ball was not dead, but there was an inadvertent whistle. Let's see what Dave is going to. Ordinarily, if the Hawkeyes have recovered, they come out in the 20.
Can we get Dave Perry on the hotline?
Now I've got to tell you, Vielman is not so happy right now. So he goes back to the headset.
Interesting. After conversing with Kirk Ferentz.
Well, we know when the whistle blew. We heard it.
The confusion is
who
the
had
inadvertent whistle, and when they blew it, who had possession of the football?
No question.
Correction.
Listen to this now.
The line to gain was made. Therefore, it will be a first down at the 3-yard line.
So Ferentz has got the ball spotted at the 3. He seems to be satisfied with it. They can't get their personnel on the field. The Hawkeyes are confused trying to get their personnel on the field right now.
Still got a time.
And there's a whistle. Yeah, I agree with Kirk. You got to at least establish that you're getting ready to play before you start the clock. I totally agree with Kirk. He forced them to use that timeout right there. And I absolutely agree with the Hawkeye coach. There was so much confusion in the explanation. Nobody said we're getting ready to play. Have you got your players on the field? Now let's go.
Well, I'll look forward to hearing the league's explanation on Monday on that, because I don't think anybody understands why in the heck the ball's at the 3-yard line and it's 1st and 10 for Wisconsin after everything we just saw.
In fairness to the overall scheme of things, the Hawkeyes stop if they hear the whistle.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I mean, the whistle.
Everybody
right
stopped.
it.
Yeah. I mean, how did we go back to the 3-yard line? Why not the 4? Why not the 2? Why the 3? Why are we at the 3-yard line?
They must be ruling that that's where the ball was knocked loose from his hands. That would be what I would guess, Kirk. Okay?
Okay.
But trust me. No, they show 1st down and goal. It's a well-rested offense right now. Donovan going to roll right. Throw. Incomplete. Off Swann's hands.
This is one of the things that Donovan, getting back to football here, one of the things that Donovan gives Brett Bielema is because of his speed and because of his quick feet. He can give you the option to get to the outside and allow him to either make a decision to throw the football. In this case, he just made a poor throw. Swann was open. Or he can run it in.
Badgers with 1 timeout. We're inside of 50 seconds. They're going to throw again. That is his second touchdown grab of the season. And Taylor Melhoff on to attempt the extra point. So after a confusing play in which the Badgers appeared first of all to be headed to the end zone, secondly having recovered a fumble in the end zone, this time there is no question they've scored on this pass.
Well, Beckham is right here, and one of the things that they want to try to do with Beckham is get him to the outside, but the guy who opens this up is P.J. Hill. He comes underneath, the linebacker takes P.J. Hill, and because of that, look at that nice opening right behind Hill, right to Beckham for a touchdown. Well-designed play there by Paul Chryst, the offensive coordinator, to get his guy, Beckham, who they really like to find in the red zone. What a acrobatic catch there by the tight end.
Reaction by the 37-year-old coach of the Badgers. Played for Iowa, later coached at Iowa. He's on the same staff with Kirk Ferentz. Hayden Fry was the head coach. And now the Badgers lead the Hawkeyes 7-3.
And the first touchdown of the year, 4 games in for this Iowa defense.
And it didn't come easy. They punched the ball out of the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
They did a lot of things down there.
There's a lot going on.
They
put an asterisk next to that first touchdown of the year.
Melhoff. And man from South Dakota whistles it to one of the short men. And he is down at the 37-yard line with 36 seconds. And a reminder now, coming up on the Bud Light halftime report, John, Craig, and Doug will have highlights from all the nation's top teams. Got a couple of big games down in the SEC. Georgia, Alabama. Earlier today, LSU beat South Carolina. And of course tonight, USC beating Washington State out of the Los Angeles Coliseum. Next week, Kirk, you and I will see the Trojans. They'll be up Seattle way. They're soon to go to a game again in Washington up in Seattle.
Isn't it nice? I like when the Huskies, we'll see what happens later tonight with the Huskies and UCLA down in Pasadena. But it'll be a big game next week. Anytime the Trojans go on the road, people get excited to see what'll happen.
Christensen snaps off, complete. Clock is stopped now. 31 seconds remaining. And Johnson Koulianos, that young man from Ohio, is he's active. He's got to step up now.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of him getting more and more reps, more experience, because he has playmaking ability. In fact, his senior year in Ohio, again, for Youngstown Cardinal Mooney, he was one of the better playmakers in the state his senior year and was the MVP of the Big 33 game between Ohio and Pennsylvania. He's got a ton of ability.
How did Jim Tressel miss?
I don't know.
Hey, you're an alum. I want to know.
I don't know.
Second down now. Pocket holes, can't find an open man. On the move, fires complete, and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. James Cleveland, the redshirt freshman.
I figured it out. These offenses just need to get in the 2-minute mode, and next thing you know, they move the ball right down the field. That was the old. You know, you're gonna throw the Big Ben, you're gonna throw the Hail Mary off to the right. You have 3 receivers, just clear it out, and then on the back side, a receiver comes all the way across, and he's all alone. In this case, James Cleveland picks up huge yards for the Hawkeyes.
And gave him potential chance for at least a field goal with 21 seconds to go. Keep in mind that the Hawkeyes are without a timeout left. They have exhausted their 3. First down and 10. Jake in the pocket, going deep, incomplete, and I don't see a flag. So fine coverage down there. Myers was the intended target.
Brett, one of the ways you can tell how inexperienced Iowa is with their skill is that there seems to be a lack of understanding of where to run the route and being in sync and in timing with the quarterback, Jake Christensen. A lot of times throughout this first half, these younger receivers and tight ends, they're looking for the ball in their left or right shoulder, and the ball's thrown in the opposite direction. That's part of the learning curve of being young out on the outside with your skill.
14 seconds left. taking a sideline shot and complete to the 20-yard line. And there is Daryl Johnson-Koulianis, number 15, the redshirt freshman from Ohio, and he's bringing them down the field right now. They certainly are in field goal range now. They've got 10 seconds and no timeouts.
So now it's just about being smart. And for a young offense that has struggled in protecting a quarterback by taking a chance here, still throwing, can't take a sack, and there's been a lot of pressure on Jake Christensen. He's got to be smart here.
Got to get it to the sideline, got to get out of bounds, does up over the top. What a catch by Koulianis! Oh, baby! What a touchdown grab! Johnson-Koulianis, what a circus catch!
I feel like I just scored. Whoa, that was an effort there. But the Hawkeyes, they go right down the field. 5 plays, 62 yards in 39 seconds.
And Bielman was thinking what we are. Are you kidding me? Daniel Murray trots on, and the Hawkeyes move back ahead. 10-7 with 4 seconds left.
Boy, we're seeing a young receiver in Johnson-Koulianis grow up right now. It's the top corner, arguably, in the Big Ten. Ikeguanu, one-on-one coverage, a little pushing, a little shoving, and the right hand goes out to be able to make this catch for the Hawkeyes. You're talking about an offense that hasn't been able to do anything in the first half. They go right down the field. He has actually 2 feet down, clearly a touchdown. What a throw and what a catch.
Do any of the NFL players who are watching this game tonight think that maybe there was interference on that play?
Yeah, a little bit. A little pushing and shoving.
Grab.
Yeah, you got a guy makes a catch like that. He's a quarterback learning how to play receiver. That was nice.
So the last 4 seconds, and suddenly, after a game in which the punters dominated, both teams put touchdowns on the board. And it figures to be an outstanding second half here.
Boy, Iowa hits halftime with a ton of momentum, and what an answer to Wisconsin.
Let's go to Lisa.
Well, Brent, I'm with Coach Ferentz. Coach, what did the officials say to you in regard to that very crazy, confusing phone?
Well, they made a good call. It's an inadvertent whistle, which brings the ball back out. We thought for sure a whistle had blown. That was our contention, so they did a good job with it.
Now, for 29 minutes...
I hate to admit that, by the way, but go ahead.
Now, for 29 minutes, it seemed that your offense couldn't get anything going. 43 seconds, you marched down the field and scored. What was different in that drive?
Well, you know, we're running out of players here a little bit, but a great... this is what we're going to need, a play by Darrell like that. He made down the end zone. That's Kirk Herbstreit's guy. Jake Christensen's doing a good job. And we're at the regroup here a little bit and try to figure something out, but we're playing hard.
And it's okay to say the officials are right.
They were right.
My God. Lisa, wait till he learns that that inadvertent whistle was in the end zone. Okay, now, stay tuned for the Bud Light halftime report. John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie are coming up. But a reminder, you're watching ESPN on ABC.
Nissan Titan is a Strategic Vision Total Quality Award leader. It's also the only truck tough enough to deliver college football's most coveted award. The Heisman, brought to you by the Nissan Titan.
The new Dell Inspiron 1520, powered by Intel Centrino Duo processor technology. Dell, yours is here.
At Michelin, our tires are rigorously tested. They're laser checked, X-rayed for structural integrity. And finally, no tire leaves the factory without a thorough hand inspection.
Michelin, a better way forward.
Sir, got your new appliances from the Home Depot. If you just sign right here.
Appliances? Honey, if I get new golf clubs, you can get whatever you like.
Right now, get no payments, no interest for 12 months on purchases store-wide of $2.99 or more through Sunday with your Home Depot consumer credit card. Plus, get 10% off your first purchase when you open a new Home Depot credit card account and put it on the card.
This is the Bud Light halftime report. John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie. Well, this was controversial, but they got it right because the whistle is blown while the ball is under that pile. It does pop loose, but it was after the whistle, so inadvertent whistle. Replay the down. There's a chance from the point of where they let it go, or, well, you know, it's where you know the option.
Back in Madison with Kirk Herbstreit and Lisa Salters. I'm Brent Musburger. We get ready to start the second half, and the Badgers will have the ball to start the second half. There is their quarterback, Tyler Donovan. And Iowa leads it on that last-second drive against Brett Bielema's team. With time running out of the first half, Hawkeyes march down for their touchdown. Daniel Murray, who has been their kickoff man, and freshman return man David Gilreath is back for the Badgers. Here comes Gilreath. Gilreath up the middle, and he is slapped down at the 23-yard line. And they've really ripped into him with that special team. And we want to take a look at this play. The officials, we checked. There was an inadvertent whistle, and that means that Wisconsin does indeed. Donovan throws it back to Beckham. And then down the field they came with a fantastic one-handed catch. The celebration you see is that there was a fumble on that massive hit on the kickoff, and it was recovered by the Hawkeyes.
What a hit here on the coverage. What a way to start the second half for Iowa. Unbelievable. It's a double number there. I don't know if that's Satterfield, the safety, or Murphy, another safety. Is Murphy coming down? What a play, and what a way to set the tone here in the second half. So Iowa gets a score right before the half, and now they get the ball again.
Here comes Young, exploiting the middle, crosses the 20 into the red zone on first down, and the Hawkeyes have suddenly come alive in this game.
And even from up here, you can look across the way and see the Iowa bench. All of a sudden, a group and a team that wasn't real sure about themselves has got tremendous amount of energy. You can feel it from here. They scored again before to take the lead back, and now they come down with a big hit on special teams, and they give their offense the short field.
Second down for Christensen. Sophomore Jake Christensen. Running again with Albert Young. And it'll be third down. Jason Chapman makes the play defensively.
It's one of these halves where you just thought, with all due respect, I don't think it was great defense. I think it was just poor offense for the most part. But then right at the end of the half, both of these offenses put it together. Wisconsin got down the field in a hurry. You could see Wisconsin last drive, 72 yards, more yards than they had the whole half. The same with Iowa, 62 yards, more than they had the entire half. And now they try to convert here on third.
Third down. Christensen snaps high, incomplete. And Kirk Ferentz undoubtedly will send the field goal unit out the field. And here comes Daniel Murray trotting out. He'll attempt to make it a 13-7 as the Badgers come out and fumble the opening kickoff of the second half.
Murray looked good on his first attempt. First career attempt.
Here comes a 36-yarder. Wisconsin football. The block by Nick Hayden, the senior. Here's the young man, 6'5", 300-pounder from Heartland, Wisconsin.
And Brent, I remember you making a huge deal about how high the ball got out on Murphy's previous attempt, and this time a great push by Hayden allowed him to get in, but it was also a low kick that time off of the foot that allowed the Badgers to not only penetrate, but to block the field goal. The defense steps up after the special teams fumbled the ball.
So it's all equal. Nothing gained after the fumble on the kickoff, and now Brian Madison claiming he was pulled off by the right tackle.
False start. 36 offense. 5 yards. The down remains first.
Mickey Turner. Let me check that it wasn't the tackle over there on that side. It was the tight end who was blocking on Brian. And he moved, and he cost the Badgers 5.
Number one.
That's a defensive lineman right there. Little ink on the arm. Just covered a war paint in the face. Give me that eye black. Just covered the whole face.
He gets a picture, isn't he? First down. Prior to the snap. That'll cost him 5. Now I'm going to go back on that controversial play.
Yeah,
at the end of the first half, because I went down.
Number 71.
And remember
5 yards.
Whitford originally said it was a touchdown, Wisconsin. He did not know at the time that it was an inadvertent whistle. I checked with Jim Kimmerly and Jim Augustine. They cleaned it up. It was absolutely the right ruling. It didn't matter that the whistle was blown in the end zone. It was inadvertent, giving Wisconsin its choice. Either go back to the original line of scrimmage or at the point of the fumble, which is the 3-yard line. Kirk Ferentz told Lisa they'd made a good call. He was satisfied. Good cleanup job after an inadvertent whistle by the Big Ten crew. First down now and 20. On a quarterback draw, let's make it second down and about 23 or 2 as Mitch King eats it up. The Hawkeyes, Kirk, have really come on here.
I don't think Wisconsin can block Mitch King. I know that last year they had Fitz dealing with his speed, and again, he's about 265 pounds going up against huge linemen up there. Look at those 3 linemen in the middle. Somehow he's able to get around them with the speed. Look at that. 3 guys occupy him. He comes around almost with the agility of a linebacker and gets right into the face of Tyler Donovan.
Hill is the tailback. Second and forever. Throwing underneath to Beckham, who scored the Badgers touchdown, and this still will be 3rd and long. Our Pacific Life game summary.
Not pretty for the most part if you're a fan of offensive football. But as we said, both teams were able to get their bearings somewhat and were able to put together successful 2-minute drives, seeing points being put on the board. 10-7 Iowa, but this is going to, again, be one of those games. Who gets the field position advantage will win this game.
Beckham in motion. Graham's the other tight end on the right side. And the defense jumps the play. Running for his life is Donovan. Takes a crack, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And the Badgers are going to be forced to punt.
I know it's 3rd and long here, but I know in talking to Norm Parker, when number 12 in red, quarterback Tyler Donovan, starts to create and starts to get out of the pocket, they are coming after him. He hurt them last year with his scrambling as much as anything, so when he gets out of that pocket, they are locking in on Tyler Donovan to not allow him to pick up first down.
And Mitch King, that junior tackle from Burlington, Iowa. He was in hot pursuit. DeBush. Sandeman, the freshman, driven back inside the 15-yard line. Starts up. And he is taken down short of the 30-yard line. Both special teams coming on strong here. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Kirk, we were told that this Hawkeye defense is pretty good now. Well, what about their offense?
Well, the defense has stepped up and kept them in the game. The offense did enough there at the end of the half, but now with a lead, 10-7, I don't think this is the time in a game where they need to get too conservative. I think you continue to move Christensen around, move him to the outside, continue to throw on 1st and 10, and then get the ball back to the playmakers who can run the ball, and Damian Sims and Albert Young.
4 wideouts.
There you go.
There it is to open this sequence. complete on first down to Paul Cheney. And if you were not with us early, Andy Brodell and Tony Moeaki both forced out of the game by injuries. So the Hawkeyes lose 2 more of their top receivers. So Sandeman, a true freshman, Cleveland, a redshirt freshman, and now Cheney, a redshirt freshman. They've been carrying the load. And of course, Johnson Koulianis, number 15. That's a fellow that the Badgers will be looking for. He made a great touchdown kick. And a foot race again, gets it off. Incomplete. That's who he was looking for over there, too.
Again, we just talked about what Iowa needs to do with a lead on the road. With all the injuries, with the suspensions, they're dealing with a lot of new players, a lot of new personnel up front and at receiver. Continue to move your quarterback around. He's got enough athletic ability to get to the outside and make decisions and get away from the pressure that he constantly faces when he's sitting in the pocket. And at the same time, you can't just line up and run from the I formation. I like this. The empty set, rolling him, moving him around, moving those launching points only helps him to be effective.
Chris Carter, his brother, made that last play on the sideline. They come back, and it is short of the 45-yard line. And Matt, what's going on with the Trojans now in Washington State?
All right, Brent, it's the long-awaited update from L.A. SportsCenter in-game. This is Chauncey Washington. One Cougar got a hand on him. Watch the next one try it. Just bounces right off him. 7 yards in for the score. John David Booty has made basically one mistake all night. All Trojans, 34-7. That long win streak figures to continue.
All right, Matt, 34-7 here. It is 10-7. The Hawkeyes with the 3rd down and the lead. Incomplete. Forced to punt again. Johnson Koulianis, number 15, the intended target.
That time they did a good enough job that time to allow Christensen time to throw the football. I like that he threw it to the outside shoulder of his intended target, Johnson Koulianis, but that time way out of bounds, and Alan Langford has pretty good coverage.
Luke Swan has come on. Fair catch is the signal at the 16-yard line. Well, we need the bag. It'll be the Badgers' turn. They trail it at home by 3.
Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. AT&T, your world delivered. And Cadillac, introducing the all-new 2008 Cadillac CTS.
Well, tailgate weekend continues, and if you're not one of the 80,321 inside Camp Randall, well, you tailgate outside. Watch a little television out there. And right now the Badgers are down by 3. Tyler Donovan from the 16-yard line uses P.J. Hill. Not much doing on that play. Only about a yard, and there's Brian Madison defensively again.
We've been calling these names out up front of Brian Madison and Mitch King and Matt Kroll and Kenna Weberma, because they have just played a tremendous game. And Brent, we said in the open, Iowa's leadership on the defensive side will keep them in the game and allow them to be able to possibly pull off an upset after losing to Iowa State last week on the road at Ames. And right now it's been that front 4 that's controlled the tempo on this side of the ball.
2nd down and 10 for Donovan and the Badgers. Swan is the motion receiver. Play fake, looking in that direction. Can't find a man open now, and he takes off against that defensive front. First down, Wisconsin.
It's the first time that we've seen Tyler Donovan pick up a first down scrambling. Remember last year, his first career start, it was against Iowa. And this is what he was able to do. create, make plays happen. He ran for 61 yards last year, and this is something that Iowa, Kirk Ferentz and Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, they wanted to stop him. As much as people want to talk about P.J. Hill, it was the scrambling of Tyler Donovan, and they've done a pretty good job of containing him until that scramble for a first down.
Chris Presley is the fullback right in front of Hill. Hill will follow the lead block of the fullback, and hanging on was Mitch King, number 47.
That's tough sledding in there.
Hard going.
That is nasty.
He's got 43 yards tonight, 10 carries.
And a couple bruises to go with.
You better believe it.
Last year, his first career start. That's the way you break into the Big Ten for Tyler Donovan. An MVP type of performance. And second time around, the Hawks have the book on him a little bit, and they put a lot more pressure on him.
Donovan steps up, delivers incomplete. Let's check in with Lisa.
Hey, Brandon, you remember earlier this week when we talked to P.J. Hill, he told us that he actually loves watching Tyler Donovan run. He says, when he's scrambling out there, I know that he's going to make a positive play, and he even has moves for a quarterback. He said that Donovan is a tough guy, just like me. He's not going to do your traditional slide. He's going to make the most out of it.
Now, third down, Kurt.
Players love to see quarterbacks who are willing to stay in bounds and be a football player, not run out of bounds.
Pocket holds, middle open. Swan, first down for the Badgers to the 44-yard line.
Great job of giving Tyler Donovan time to throw. Boy, when you're looking around and trying to read into the middle of a defense, you're looking at your first receiver, second receiver, you're waiting for him to clear, and that's man coverage that Swan's working on. Does a good job of breaking away from Charles Godfrey. Luke Swan, when it comes to, give the quarterback time to throw, Luke Swan will get open because of his use of the double move.
Here comes P.J. Hill on a cutback. Picked up about 4 yards, and Mike Humpel, the linebacker, wrestles him down.
P.J. Hill last year, his first year playing in the Big Ten, got over 1,500 yards. Realized through that experience that he had shoulder surgery, decided to try to drop some weight, really struggled down the stretch last year, only had one 100-yard game in his last 5. He decided he wanted to get a little stronger and a little leaner to help him with endurance. And see if it'll help him tonight against his pesky Hawkeye defense.
Randall L. checks in for the Badgers as one of the wide receivers. They come right back and probe. Spinning move by Hill. And not much doing up front. The Hawkeye defensive front has left him with third down and a decision to make. Matt Kroll made the stop.
Just goes to show you that people have debates constantly about speed versus power. And what we've seen through about 2.5 quarters tonight, again on this side, the power of Wisconsin against the speed and quickness of Iowa's defensive front, the speed again prevails.
You saw Hill go to the sideline looking a little exhausted. Smith is now the running back. On a play fake roll, Donovan's going to try to run for it. Got the first down. Crosses the 40-yard line. Never in doubt that time.
There's a design play to get him to the outside. Utilize the speed. This is the second time that we've seen Tyler Donovan take advantage of his feet and his quickness. And this is something that I think you're going to see more and more of. An adjustment by Paul Chryst. How can we get Donovan more involved in the game? Design bootleg. He's either going to run for it and make it, or he's going to come up short, and they're going to have to punt. Second time this drive, his feet pick up a first.
And Smith stays in as the tailback. Here's the carry. Cuts outside. Dives forward, but wrapping him up was Godfrey. Charles Godfrey would not let loose number 13, their fine defensive back.
Lance Smith, the change of pace back. 5'10", 203 pounds out of Warren, Ohio. has a lot of speed. He brings that burst to this backfield. P.J. Hill more the power back. Lance Smith gets in there. He's looking to try to find a seam and take it to the house.
P.J. Hill is back up off the bench. Receives some attention. Quarterback draw and tries to sprint out to the left. And oh, he gets bent like a pretzel that time. Humple was there. King was there.
Well, I can't get enough of watching Mitch King as a defensive tackle. This guy, number 47, at 6'3", 265. He's getting locked up with a big lineman right in the middle, Marcus Coleman at 300 pounds, and yet has the speed to get there, and then Humple cleans it up, Brent.
P.J. Hill has returned.
King just doesn't stop. He's relentless.
Now Kyle Jefferson checks into the huddle. He'll go out to the right. They'll put Swan off to the left. Donovan. Incomplete. Intended for Gilworth. And A.J. Eads, who has an interception tonight. What a good pass defensive linebacker he is. Pass defender.
You look at Eads at 6'4", 245. Klingenborg, the other middle linebacker, 6'2", 240. And Humple at 6'3", 242. Typical Iowa linebackers. Think of Chad Greenway, 6'3", 245, long and lean, almost safeties that were turned into linebackers. Great covers and also very physical when it comes to defending the run.
DeBush hunting again. They try to pin the Hawkeyes back inside the 20. They're going to let this go and hope it goes to the end zone. Bounces inside the 5, and the Badgers jump. Going to be marked right there on the 1-yard line. 99 yards for Jake Christensen of the Hawkeyes as Ben Strickland downs the punt at the 1. Great job by number 3.
Game.
The Hawkeyes backed up. The shadow of their own goal coming up on the 1-yard line. After the punt was down. Sims is the eye back. Play fake to him, and Christensen looking back in that direction in the end zone. Got to hurry, gets out. 10, 15, slides to the 20. What a great save for a first down by Jake Christensen.
And what a call here by Iowa to decide to take a chance. Continue to talk about how they cannot be conservative with all the injuries that they have. Wisconsin's loading up to stop their running backs, Albert Young and Damian Sims. Ken O'Keefe decides to get to the outside, and a nice job there. That quarterback is scrambling.
Complete over the middle. Another first down. We welcome those of you who have been watching the #1 team in the nation, USC, pull away from Washington State. I'm Brent Musburger along with Kirk Herbstreit and Lisa Salters, and this the opening weekend of the Big Ten Conference, and here it is a tough defensive struggle between Iowa and Wisconsin with some goofy plays and a spectacular play that we're going to show you for an Iowa touchdown. First down and 10. The Badgers, remember, have the longest win streak in the nation. They're on defense. The Hawkeyes breaking free with Sims crossing midfield. Damian Sims, I'm going to take you back. We're going to start with the controversy. There was a fumble. It gets recovered by Wisconsin in the end zone, but there's an inadvertent whistle. The linesman downs the play right there. There you can see him signaling as the Badgers go to recover the ball. So they put it back on the 3-yard line where the fumble was. Beckham catches the touchdown pass. Now we want you to watch Johnson Koulianis, number 15, a spectacular one-handed grab. And it is 10-7, Iowa with the lead, and Iowa driving again here in the third quarter. This is Sims into the middle. So, Kirk, especially for those folks who've just joined us, Give them an overview of this game and what we've been watching.
Well, the big thing for Iowa coming into this game on the road is they lost to Iowa State on the road. They couldn't do anything on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense coming into the game hadn't allowed a touchdown, so you knew their defense could keep them in the game even though they're in Camp Randall. But give credit to Iowa and the offense because they've had injuries, they've had suspensions coming into this game. They're down to freshmen, guys that are being asked to make plays for the first time, and they're stepping up and growing up right before our eyes tonight.
And Kirk mentions injuries. 2 more wide receivers are gone. Sims probing the left side of the Badger defense. Not much doing. Kirk Ferentz. And first 16 drives, we have a point scored, and look at that. The next 3, 17 points. Iowa only 2 of 13. Wisconsin 3 of 12. There is 37-year-old Brett Bielema, one of the youngest head coaches in the nation. Played at Iowa. Now the Wisconsin head coach. Once was an assistant coach down at Iowa. Worked alongside Kirk Ferentz. Went to Kansas State. Was a co-defensive coordinator for Bill Snyder. Now on 3rd down, 4 receivers out for Jake Christensen, the sophomore quarterback for the Hawkeyes. And I believe the clock ran down. Penalty flags are flying. You saw the quarterback try to call timeout.
There's movement by the right tackle.
False start. Offense. Number 78. 5 yards. The down remains 3rd.
Richardson started to move his feet, and Levy said, hey, wait a second. He's going to back up a bit. I'm going to come across and knock him on his tail.
And you can see the center was trying to change up. And that, believe it or not, is Iowa's first penalty of this football game.
And when Iowa gets to 3rd down, this is when you're breaking in new people up front that struggle with communication. We've seen Christensen running for his life because of poor protection. You add that to the fact they're inexperienced in receiver, it makes it tough to execute on 3rd.
On 3rd down, in trouble, Christensen going to be sacked at midfield. The first man was Aaron Henry. They have been blitzing the true freshman nickel all night. He's from Florida, brings great speed in.
Well, this we just talked about was bringing the blitz from the outside along with the blitz from the middle. The offensive line is trying to communicate, trying to figure out where the pressure has been coming from. And it's, again, the pressure from the nickelback, Aaron Henry, that gets in there to stop Christensen.
Ferentz having to replace 3 fellas who moved on to the NFL on his offensive line. And under pressure, gets it off. Swan going to let it bounce. The punter faced pressure that time. And near the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each University General Scholarship Fund. That pressure from Ben Strickland. And he is a standout on the Badgers special teams.
For the people that are just joining us that haven't had a chance to see Wisconsin's offense against Iowa's defense, it's been the size of Wisconsin and the power of Wisconsin. But right now we've seen Iowa dominate with their front because of the speed up front that the Hawkeyes have.
196 yards of offense for the Badgers and 193 for the Hawkeyes. And here's P.J. Hill, big hole on that right side, picking up about 8 yards on that first down run behind the right side of that line. Urbick and Vandenheuvel that time.
One of the first creases that we've seen all night for P.J. Hill, where he's not getting hit within the line of scrimmage. And Norm Parker said when you're facing a big power back, you can't allow him to run downhill. You have to make him redirect, start over, bounce him to the outside, which is what they've been able to do for the most part.
So they do not get the snap off as time runs out here on the 3rd quarter. It's about time to jump around, ladies and gentlemen. ESPN Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Great traditions in Madison, folks. Start of the 4th, it's jump around time. He was jumping. You were good, man. I'm watching you. I think you still were. Those rascals, huh? We'll be out to State Street with them soon. 2nd down now for the Badgers. And ugly looking end-around play. Almost a collision between running back and receiver, and Mitch King is there. So pretty much what we expected, folks. Low-scoring game would come into the fourth quarter. Either team with a chance to win, and the Badgers' win streak now is at risk here.
It is at risk, and this is surprising. I mean, I really felt that Iowa coming into this game, the way they played against Iowa State, I thought their defense could keep them around, but with all the injuries and the problems they've had on offense, I thought Wisconsin would take advantage of it. But give the Hawkeyes all the credit in the world because of the way Mitch King, who's off to the sideline there with an injury, the way Mitch King has played and the Hawkeyes have played the entire night.
Yeah, Nowinski has to replace him, number 59 whistle prior to the snap. We've had a little bit of everything here.
Wisconsin called the timeout.
So they use one on Bielema's team right now, and again, Iowa has won 4 of the last 5 against Wisconsin, although Bielema in his rookie year did win last year in Iowa City. The Badgers have won 19 of their last 20 night games, okay? And overall, they have a 12-game win streak. That is the longest win streak right now of any team. And taking a look at some of the big picture, of course, you really thought Penn State was going to win today in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I did. You knew Michigan would come out realizing after the way they played in their first 2 games, it was a great opportunity. They beat Notre Dame. This is a chance to say, guys, second life. You knew they'd come out playing with fire. I thought Penn State would be able to match that enthusiasm, but give the Wolverines and Mike Hart, the spark plug of the Wolverines, a lot of credit for coming up with that big win.
Mitch King has returned. So number 47, folks, he's one of the best defensive linemen in the Big Ten. He's right over the nose. Donovan sprinting out to the right. Throws, and a diving incomplete, and a penalty, though. Hang on. Flags come flying. Back judge, line judge, both throw to yellow.
One of those plays where you think it's being thrown to Swan. Dalton comes up to defend Swan.
Pass interference. Defense number 2. The penalty is an automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
And the ball is either poorly overthrown to Swan, or they're trying to get it over to the top receiver, who actually had a step on coverage, but pass interference, and 1st and 10 now for Wisconsin.
Ball just across midfield. Hill is the I-back. Presley the fullback. Beckham goes in motion. Here is Hill. He powers to the 41-yard line. Moylan makes the stop. When you look at P.J. Hill, he's a young man who lost weight during the offseason. Came back a little bit sleeker. He's the workhorse. Freshman back of the year in the Big Ten. He's out of the New York area.
Yeah, the fact that he struggled in those last 5 games, I think he was beat up. His body was beat up. It was very important for him to get stronger and leaner.
Here he comes. And he is wrestled down just short of that first down marker that you see there. And Kroll and King, those 2 fine defensive tackles. The front 7 of this Iowa Hawkeye team is as good as any team in the Big Ten this year.
And I think it's because of the versatility. You have the speed up front. They're a bit undersized, but they make up for it with their quickness. And then behind them, 3 linebackers that can be physical against the run, but they also can get out and play in space that we've seen tonight against Wisconsin.
Let's see what Paul Chryst wants done here on 3rd and short. End around. He brings the freshman for the first down to the 31-yard line. David Gilreath, the return specialist. He is from New Hope, Minnesota. 5'11", 160 pounds.
Even though this night has not gone well for Wisconsin's offense at this point, only 7 points, they are keeping their composure. As frustrated as I'm sure Tyler Donovan is, a guy that doesn't have a ton of experience under his belt, came into the night making good decisions with the football, and for the most part is keeping his composure and poise tonight.
Badgers have turned it over 3 times. Hill, he slashes across the 30-yard line, and We can take a look at the Pacific Life game summary here, Kurt.
It has been a tough night if you're a fan of offensive football. Daniel Murray, first career field goal attempt. It was good to put Iowa up by 3. And then after a controversy, the Badgers scored for what looked like we're given the lead at the half. But hold on a second. Daryl Johnson-Kulanis comes right back to give the Hawkeyes the lead before the half to put us at 10-7. And it's been that way. And now we're seeing if the Badgers can try to take the lead.
Second down. Hill probing right straight ahead. Powers his way for a Badger first down. So Paul Chryst, the fine offensive coordinator, calling the plays right now and moving the chains on this drive.
Well, this is Wisconsin football. This is where you start to see this size work to their advantage. And this drive is really the first time that we've seen P.J. Hill find a few creases and find some openings and give him a chance to build up some momentum to allow him to get into the linebackers and into the safeties to be able to pick up some yardage.
Mickey Turner checks in as the tight end. Formation is stronger to the left. H-back look. Here comes Hill. Searching for daylight. Crosses the 20 and a foot race for the first down marker. And that flag is a face mask. It's on Harold Dalton. Dave Whitvote, Big Ten referee.
Turn to run. Incidental 5-yard face pass. Number 2 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Oh, this is vintage again. Vintage Wisconsin. They run the power, and then they come back with the counter with the fullback and the tight end trying to lead around. P.J. Hill does a good job of getting away from the defenders. Webema's right there to make the play. Kroll is right there to make the play. But now we start to see the power taking advantage of opportunities here in the fourth quarter.
First and goal, just inside the 5. Here's Hill again, straight ahead, muscling toward the end zone. He's stopped. It'll be second down and goal. So Hill has carried the load. He's carried it 8 times on this drive for about 41 yards.
Old school Big Ten football right here. Putting the ball into the hands of P.J. Hill and Paul Chryst and Brett Bielema. They must recognize it right now that the scale is tipping and giving Wisconsin some advantages up front because we've not seen this all night from Wisconsin's running game.
Here's a 2 tight end look. It's going to be Hill again. And he stopped short of the end zone. King was one of those slicing in along with Mike Klinkenborg, their outstanding middle linebacker from Rock Rapids, Iowa, the senior.
Klinkenborg right in the middle of everything tonight. The helmet comes off. He's going to fill this hole. It's him against P.J. Hill. He gets lower and knocks Hill down. And you and I heard this. When I found out that in high school he was a high jumper and he went all the way up to 6 feet 7 inches and then a doubleheader. Are you kidding me? One game he pitches right-handed, the next game he comes back and pitches left-handed.
Unbelievable. Hill, hole, middle, touchdown, Wisconsin. Andy Kemp and Marcus Coleman in the middle of the offensive line for the Badgers. Paved the way for junior P.J. Hill.
That's the first rushing touchdown that the Hawkeyes have allowed all year. And what a drive. 11 plays and 68 yards, and most of that on the ground from P.J. Hill.
Melhoff adds the extra point. So the battle for the Heartland Trophy continues here in Madison. The Badgers are back on top. Now you see those great views, and they're being provided by the Outback Steakhouse Airship. The Bloomin' Onion 1. Captain Andrea Daling is at the controls of the Bloomin' Onion. Nice to have you with us here tonight, Captain. What a gorgeous night to be sailing above everything in Madison, Wisconsin. 11 plays, 68 yards, and Hill was the workhorse. 10 times for 43 yards and the touchdown. Ball on the tee now. Young man from South Dakota whacks it. Fielded at the 4 by Johnson Koulianos. He's got great speed. Looking alley coming left. He's got one. What can Melhoff do? Melhoff takes him down. The young man, an outstanding all-around athlete from Aberdeen. Baseball player, quarterback on the football team, and here he has to play some old-fashioned football.
Well, what great speed. He gets away from one of the defenders, and then he finds a crease and shows his speed. He's a quarterback out of high school, has tremendous athletic ability and natural instincts in the open field, and he found a crease and just got upfield almost to midfield.
44 yards, but Melhoff makes a touchdown-saving tackle at the ankles. Now Christensen rolling right. Going to keep it to the 45-yard line of the Badgers. He picked up about 7 yards on that run. And Nick Hayden, who's been active, blocked a field goal, makes us that.
Boy, Ken O'Keefe, again, as an offensive coordinator, when you have, you're on the road, you've got an offense that's trying to still kind of find an identity for themselves. I love that he's taking chances on 1st and 10 and rolling his quarterback away instead of just running the backs, which is what they want to do. You've got to take those chances, Brent, to open up the running game, and we've seen them try to do that all night.
Albert Young back in as the tailback. They'll work him now for a first down. Albert busts across the 40-yard line to about the 39, and it'll be 1st and 10. Remember, it was a wonderful catch by Daryl Johnson Koulianos. He scored the touchdown on a one-handed catch. He would have just scored his second, except for Melhoff, the kickoff man. And he said, he gave an interview this week, Melhoff did, and they asked him, what do you miss? And he said, I'm just being a football player. I'm just a kicker right now.
There he did.
Had a chance that time, didn't he? Play fake now by Christensen. Stands tall in the pocket. Got an open man. Had 2 of them. Inside the 20. Spinning free to the 14 is James Cleveland from Baytown, Texas. That's 25 more yards, and the Hawkeyes are back knocking on the door.
Another great call by Ken O'Keefe. Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator. Play action. Look at the linebackers. Look at the linebackers coming up and playing up to Sims or to Albert Young on the play action, and look behind those linebackers. A huge opening. They expect 1st and 10. They're expecting a run, and there, right behind the linebackers who came up, is James Cleveland, and a huge window for Christensen to find.
Swing, a little high. Young grabs it down, and he busts across the 15-yard line on this first down. And, of course, a reminder now as we come past 11 o'clock in the East and 10 o'clock here in the Midwest to stay tuned for your late local news immediately after the game over most of these stations. And over on ESPN SportsCenter will have post-game analysis along with all the scores and highlights of the day. And the big one, of course, Michigan wins in the big house over Penn State. Holds the Nittany Lions to a couple of field goals, I believe, in that game. 2nd down, ball inside the 15. Christensen stands tall, middle incomplete, and no one was open that deep as we check in down below with Lisa.
When the Iowa Hawkeyes defense came off the field after that Wisconsin touchdown, the defensive players came to the bench and they looked worn out, had their heads hanging down. Head coach Kirk Ferentz made a point to come over to them and say, hey guys, don't worry, keep fighting, you are doing fine. We're about to make some big plays and get those points back for you, but we're doing fine, hang in there.
Down by 4, they would love to put a quick 6 up here on that 3rd down. But they may have to settle for 3 if the Badgers stiffen. Going toward the student end zone in Madison. Down he goes at the 19-yard line. Aaron Henry again. What a future. Freshman from the state of Florida.
Brent Henry has been in the backfield more than Albert Young and Damian Sims on 3rd down from the exact same position every single time. They brought linebackers Levy on one side and the nickelback, Aaron Henry, the freshman, and Henry gets in there again to disrupt this Hawkeye offense.
Daniel Murray on again. First night he has ever kicked. Got this one up. And they close to within one now. 6:29 to go. And for Aaron Henry, folks, that's 2.5 sacks for a freshman nickelback. Great night.
The new Dell Inspiron 1520, powered by Intel Centrino Duo processor technology. Dell, yours is here.
What you get up and take a stand. Peace. Stick to the plan.
HD?
HD.
Thoughts?
Lots of thoughts. LCD, plasma.
Kiva surround sound, head spinning.
Deep breath. Likes? Cowboy explosions. Touchdown robots.
Cooking, tearjerkers, crime dramas.
Sing-along musicals.
This system, LG Home Theater, perfect fit. Mechanically inclined?
Emergency room inclined.
We install.
We pledge a complete home theater experience and now save $200 off an LG HD TV with installation. That's HD done right at Best Buy.
She's an incredible girl.
For every guy,
you may kiss the bride,
who's ever made a big mistake.
My mom finally arrived.
It's the same dress I wore on my wedding day.
Same designer?
No, the very same dress.
From the guys who brought you There's Something About Mary.
What's the matter, Eddie, you little girl?
How's Lila? It's like a switch flip.
She's loco.
She burned my passport.
I can sneak you back into California.
The Heartbreak Kid, rated R.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. Verizon Wireless. And Kingsford. Grab your friends and family and fire up the grill. It's time to bring the tailgate home.
We welcome you back to ESPN Football on ABC. 6:29 remaining in the money quarter, a one-point football game. Wisconsin with a 12-game winning streak, leading Iowa 14-13. And Daniel Murray, who just kicked his second field goal, ready to kick it off. And the freshman David Gilreath standing back on the goal line. Coming out from the 8-yard line. Over to the left and pushed out of bounds. Crowd wanted a flag, and time for a ESPN minute. Let's send you to New York, and here's Matt.
All right, Brent, the Sports Center Minute powered by Vizio, and after the disastrous start, Michigan is back to 500. Kirk talked about him. Mike Hart gave them everything they could ask for, 44 carries, and this touchdown to put it away. And from the Bigs, the Boston Red Sox become the first Major League team to clinch a playoff spot. The Sox beat the D-Rays 8-6 tonight to guarantee themselves at least the American League wild card. They're 2.5 up on the Yanks in the AL East.
And in the Midwest, of course, Cub fans are nervously trying to hang on against the Brewers. And Hill is stopped at the 35-yard line. That's 5 more yards. He has become the workhorse. They're trying to bring that clock down with him.
They're going to take the clock down, and it just happened to be the most successful drive that P.J. Hill has had the last time Wisconsin had the football. So you know they're going to try to ride him down the field, and Brent, as you talked about, try to milk that clock.
Bielema checking it, coming down toward 5.5 minutes. Kirk Ferentz for all 3 of the Hawkeye timeouts, and Bielema with 2 for Wisconsin. Here's the toss play to Hill, and not much doing as that Hawkeye front jumps him on that play right there.
This Iowa defense, it's been they've been as a bunch, as a group, gamers. They've had to sacrifice their bodies. They've played together as a unit. The front seven has been able to, for the most part, dominate inside in the trenches and allowed them to be able to put Tyler Donovan in a lot of third and long situations, and they've won for the most part in those third and longs. We'll see what happens here.
And that was a true freshman from Texas, Coleman, making that play. He's back off the field for Norm. Norm signals in the defense. Donovan looking for a target. Everybody's covered downfield, so he tries to sprint out of it. Dives toward the first down, and he's got it. Moving the chains.
Well, this is what Tyler Donovan looks at. You can see man coverage for the most part across the board here. Try to find an open receiver as Tyler Donovan drops back to throw. Look at the coverage. I mean, not only one defender, for the most part, two defenders. And eventually, after 6 or 7 seconds, he uses his feet. And this is what he brings to Wisconsin's offense this year, the ability to scramble for a first down.
7 yards, Kirk, on a 3rd and 6. Perfect. Here comes the big fella, Hill. P.J. Hill now, the battering ram. Closing in on 100 yards here tonight.
Now we're going to start to see a little bit of a chess match here between Kirk Ferentz, the head coach, and Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, against Tyler Donovan, who's been able to use the feet, picking up the first downs here as most part in the second half. But it's going to come down to the clock. When do you start to use your timeouts? I think they'll hold off until at least another first down before they start to use their timeouts.
See if Bielema now keeps it on the ground so that the clock keeps on ticking. Power look with Presley. Here comes Smith, the backup tailback, sprinting to the outside. First down, he's got speed. Down the sideline, pushed out of bounds around the 20-yard line. And there is Lance Smith, the sophomore from Warren, Ohio. Another one who got away from your Buckeyes. What's with this?
Well, I have no idea. Wisconsin and Iowa get into the Buckeye State. But here's the counterplay. There's a little bit of a difference here as he follows Graham around. It's the speed when he gets to the edge, to the corner. This is what Smith brings as a changeup to the size of P.J. Hill. When he turns the corner, it's not an 8 or a 12-yard gain. It's a 40 or 50-yard gain. In this case, he picks up 30.
First down inside the 30-yard line. Smith stays on the field. Gets the call again after the 30-yard run. And Lisa, he's had himself a night.
That's right, Brent. And offensive coordinator Paul Chryst told us that they were going to need Lance Smith tonight, and it's proven to be true. But they only get him for home games. He is not allowed to travel for road games with the Badgers, and that is because of disciplinary action taken on him by the university after Smith was arrested in July and charged with battery and disorderly conduct after a dispute with his girlfriend, reportedly an altercation over cab fare. The university decided that his punishment would be that he could not travel on the road, but they're happy certainly to have him here tonight.
Indeed. And he'll lead block. Trying to clear the way for Donovan, but he could not get his man down that time as he rolled out on A.J. Eads, and Eads able to come off the block and help make the play.
You've been talking about A.J. Eads all night tonight, Brent, and he continues to make plays. Talking about a guy who's going to fight off a running back, Smith, who just had the big carry, fights him off, and then locks up on Donovan, who's a pretty good athlete, and allows the rest of the defense to come in and make a play.
Here is a big sequence. Clock ticking now. 2:24. Iowa trailing by a point. 3rd down and 7. Swan goes out to the left. Let's see what Chryst and Bielema have decided to do with this.
Well, Bielema was trying to get the attention of his quarterback and eventually just called the timeout from the bench.
We want to talk about exactly what they want to do here. Paul Chryst is up in the booth. He's the offensive coordinator. Bielema, of course, going over the sequencing here. Very critical juncture in a 1-point game. Aerial coverage for tonight's game in Madison, courtesy of that Outback Steakhouse airship Bloomin' Onion 1. And the Outback Steakhouse specializes in aerial sports coverage with Ed Blimp. So look for the Bloomin' Onion at sporting events throughout the year. What a great time of year this is. Baseball playoffs looming. NFL season getting underway. Every week's big in college football with the wacky BCS. Who knows? There's a handoff now to Hill. He's been the workhorse, and the Hawkeyes are ready for that play. Number 1 was Mike Humple, number 44. He's a senior linebacker, and this front 7 continues to impress.
And I think Brett Bielema calling the timeout based on the play calling from he and Paul Chryst, the offensive coordinator. They wanted to put the ball in a position where their field goal kicker has the most confidence to make this a 4-point game and force Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes to have to drive the length of the field to score a touchdown instead of kicking the field goal.
Timeout is called, and of course Taylor Melhoff, who is extremely reliable. I don't believe he has missed this year. He's the senior from Aberdeen, as you might imagine, for number 10. His hero, Adam Vinatieri. And that's right, another kicker out of the state of South Dakota. And there he is right there. He was a fine baseball player when he grew up. Played quarterback. Had a chance to play small college quarterback. And some guys came to him and said, you know, if you stick to just kicking, Taylor, you might be able to get yourself a Division I scholarship. And the Badgers, Gary Alvarez was in the head coach. They brought him in. And he has been dead solid perfect this year. Looking to make it 4 for 4. He's also got a long one. 51 yards. This is a 40. This is a chip shot. Right down Main Street, Aberdeen, folks. The Dakota Kid has done it again. Well, stay tuned for your late local news immediately following the game over most of these ABC stations. And then over on ESPN, SportsCenter will have post-game analysis along with the scores and highlights of the day. Notre Dame goes 0-4 for the first time in history. That'll be one of the stories they'll be covering over on ESPN. And Kirk, right after this kickoff, I want to whistle up the top 10 and talk about it, because there could be a little bit of a change, obviously, with Penn State losing. And big win for Georgia tonight in overtime over Alabama.
Absolutely.
Trojans roll. We'll be in Seattle with them next week against the revitalized Huskies. Kickoff to the 6th. Johnson Koulianis has been their star tonight. 15 looking daylight. That time the Badgers will wear it, gets it out to the 25. So let's take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings Review right now. You can see big lead for the Trojans. LSU came on. Florida. What do you make of all of that, Kirk? What's going to change there?
I don't think you're going to see a lot of change unless people might decide to move Oklahoma to 3 and flip Florida down to 4, just based on what Oklahoma did last night against Tulsa and the way Florida struggled today against Ole Miss. That's about really the only change I see up at the top.
And, of course, I guess Boston College of Oregon could replace Penn State on the AP list of the top 10 that we're looking at. Almost intercepted. That would have been game, set, and match. DeAndre Levy had a gimme. The junior from Milwaukee, and he couldn't hang on. Whoa, Jake wanted that one back, didn't he?
Jake's got to be careful with his eyes. He led number 11, Levy, right to the throw. He didn't even see him. He didn't feel him. Didn't feel him at all, but his eyes led Levy. That's like work. That's a drill you work on in practice. He's just got to make the catch, and the game's over.
Young looked like he ducked his head, didn't he? Maybe he thought there was a receiver in behind him. Second down and 10.
Let it go!
Going to go deep. Incomplete. Daryl Johnson Koulianis, folks. Remember that name. He had daylight.
He absolutely had daylight, but look at him off of the line of scrimmage against Langford. He goes down to the ground, still has the athletic ability to almost make a play. If he wouldn't have gone down, that is a huge play for Iowa.
Close to a penalty. If that ball was not in the air, that's okay, but you can't do that to a receiver in college if that ball's in the air, folks. Third down and 10. Madison rocking. Down goes Christensen.
ready.
Number 11. And 4th down with 1.5 minutes to go, trailing it by 4. First thing you're going to do is call a timeout over there. The Hawkeyes will use one of their 2, and then they'll see what they can come up with. They face a 4th and 8 when you come back.
Andy. Andrew.
He can't hear you, Dad.
What do you mean he can't hear me? He's right there.
He's televisophoner netting.
What?
Televisophoner netting.
Telefizzy photo whatty?
Televisophoner netting.
Isn't that what I said?
Television. We're back now. 4th down and 8, Kurt.
Well, they've got to give Christensen time. Wouldn't be shocked to see him roll out of there to give him some time. Looks like Wisconsin is going to rush 3 and drop 8.
Going to go deep, got a receiver open, and he's tripped. Incomplete. He had a man. Paul Chaney, the redshirt freshman from St. Louis, had broken free, and he lost his footing. That might have been 6 points.
Well, this is a great throw and great patience by Christensen to allow this play to develop and eventually give his man enough time, Chaney, to get behind the coverage of Royston, number 21, the safety. The one thing you cannot do as a safety at any point, let alone late in the game, is let a receiver run right by you. Chaney went right by Royston. If he doesn't stumble, he just walks underneath the ball and probably into the end zone.
That was a very promising scene on the Hawkeye bench when one of the big uglies went over there to Jake and said, keep your head up. We're going to win some football games before this season's over. And with this defense, they will indeed, as that offense starts to mature and grow up. And we check in quickly with Matt Weiner in New York. Matt.
All right, Fred, let's get you a nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week. West Virginia's Pat White continues to get it done. 18 of 20 through the air today. He threw 2 touchdowns, ran 2 more in the win over East Carolina. Text vote to 87654 on your AT&T wireless telephone. And Brent, you can cast your vote for Pat or whomever you like.
Yeah, hey, Matt, somebody got a cell phone, I want to vote in that field.
Brent, I just want to...
There's the Heartline.
Oh, there it is.
There's the bull.
It's a biggie. I want to play off of what you just said. It's a great point about Iowa coming in here. Suspensions, injuries to 2 of their more experienced receivers. They battled a lot of adversity. And for a young team on the road, Wisconsin gets the win. And you're going to see them move on. But the Hawkeyes go back to the drawing board with a young team. And before it's all said and done, they are going to win some games. But the Badgers remain undefeated, and they get their first win in conference play.
And it will give Bielema a 13-game winning streak. Consider this about Brett Bielema. He will start his head coaching career 16-1. Now think about that for a minute. That includes a bowl win down in Orlando, and time now for our Chevrolet players of this game. And there is one of the young men. I'll tell you, Johnson Koulianos will give him the award for the Hawkeyes. And P.J. Hill, 106 yards tonight, a workhorse and a recognition of their fine effort. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, go back on one play. Taylor Melhoff may have saved the game for Wisconsin with the tackle on the kickoff, because it looked like Johnson Koulianos had broken free and was going to go for 6. There's the first down. Final 30 seconds. The celebration will begin here in Madison, my friend.
That play was huge. And how about the opening kickoff in the second half? The big hit by Iowa and recover team. Recover the ball deep in Wisconsin territory. 3 and out. Force the field goal. Then block the field goal.
Great point.
Another big sequence of plays for the Badger unit.
And we must say kudos to the Big Ten officials who cleaned up a mess down there in the end zone. The inadvertent whistle, but they sorted out, got it right. There it is. There's the victory knee. Brett Bielema, at 37 years old, is now 16-1. Wisconsin has won 13 straight games. They've won 20 of their last 21 night games. And a couple of old buddies from Iowa days, and the Heartland Trophy stays right here in Madison, Wisconsin. Every better days, there's a young man with some future for the Hawkeyes. And let's go down now to Lisa with Coach.
Coach, you ran out on the field jumping up and down to the fans. Where did all that energy come from?
Well, I'm not playing today. As coaches, we got to sit there and take it. These night games are great, great exposure for our program, and hopefully this is a hard-fought battle and two good football teams. Credit goes to Iowa, but we're into four-quarter games around here, and we win.
That first half, the offense struggled, and then in the third quarter, you got the running game going with P.J. Hill. How were you able to open up those holes for him?
Well, the big thing is it's a four-quarter game. We've been in them, not by choice, but we've been in them, and we just stayed with what we do. I think the one thing about this program is we're built on some basic principles that as the game goes on, they get stronger, and that's what got us the victory today.
How did Tyler Donovan's ability to scramble so successfully factor into opening up those holes in the running game?
Well, we knew that coming in. They're very strong up front. They got a good front four, but thought if we can get on the edge of things and let him create some things with his legs, those were by design. I got a great group of coaches. It was a great way to start the Big Ten season.
And I asked you earlier, the guys were wondering if this was just good defense or not so good offense in this game. How would you characterize it?
That's probably Hurd Street. The quarterbacks are overly critical. Thank you.
You were right, Coach. You were right.
Out of the way, Lisa.
I'm sorry, Kirk, for throwing you under the bus.
That's all right. I'll talk to him after the game about it.
That's not the only time he goes under the bus, but congratulations on picking Georgia over Alabama.
Thank you. There you go.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. 82,630, fifth largest crowd.